My beloved child, stop for a moment. Do not scroll. Do not rush. Do not turn away. I am speaking to you not by accident, not by chance, but by intention. You have felt the quiet tug, the unanswered ache, the silence that felt heavier than noise, and this is why I am reaching now. Do not treat these words lightly, for they are meant to meet you where you are hiding and where you are hoping at the same time. Stay with me. Listen with your heart, not just your ears. What I am about to speak is not for everyone, but it is for you. If you leave early, you may miss what your soul has been waiting to hear. Remain here. Watch until the end. This moment is a doorway, and what you do next matters more than you realize. My child, when the world finally grew quiet and the noise fell away, you felt something stir inside you that you could not explain. You thought it was loneliness. You thought it was emptiness. But it was me. I have been calling you in the quiet places you tried to avoid, the moments when distractions failed and your heart had no choice but to speak honestly. I did not raise my voice to compete with the chaos of your life. I waited for the stillness, because the stillness is where truth rises to the surface. I have always known that if I shouted, you might hear me, but if I whispered, you would have to lean in. That leaning in was never about effort, it was about intimacy. I watched you fill your days with sound, your nights with light, your mind with endless motion, because silence felt dangerous to you. Silence forced you to face questions you did not know how to answer. Silence reminded you of losses you never fully grieved. Silence made room for longing, and longing made you vulnerable. Yet it was there, in that very vulnerability, that I reached for you. Not to accuse you, not to overwhelm you, but to remind you that you are not alone in the quiet, even when it feels heavy. Every time you paused and felt that ache rise in your chest, that was not absence. It was my presence pressing gently against your heart. I was not waiting for you to say the right words. I was waiting for you to stop running long enough to realize I was already there. I saw you mistake the quiet for abandonment, when in truth it was an invitation to rest, an invitation to be seen without performing, an invitation to let your soul exhale after holding its breath for so long. My child, the quiet frightened you because it stripped away the illusion of control. It revealed how tired you were, how much you had been carrying alone, how deeply you wanted reassurance, but did not know how to ask. And instead of turning away from that, I leaned closer. I let the silence linger, not to punish you, but to create space where healing could begin. Because some things cannot be spoken over noise. Some wounds only surface when everything else is finally quiet. And I was there, steady and patient, calling you not with pressure but with love. And even now, as you read these words, I am calling you again, not from a distance, but from within the stillness you feel rising in your spirit. You may think this moment is small, ordinary, easily dismissed. But heaven does not measure moments the way you do. I know how rare it is for you to stop like this. I know how quickly your mind tries to move on, to minimize, to distract. Yet I am asking you, gently and firmly, to remain here just a little longer. Because the quiet you are in right now is not empty, it is full. Full of my attention. Full of my awareness of everything you have been carrying. Full of my desire to reach places in you that noise could never touch. I have been calling you through pauses you could not explain, through moments when your heart felt heavy for no visible reason, through nights when sleep would not come and thoughts drifted back to things you thought you had buried. That was not coincidence. That was me drawing your attention inward so you could finally hear what your soul has been whispering for a long time. You have lived surrounded by voices telling you who to be, what to fix, how to measure yourself. In the quiet, those voices lose their power, and in their absence mine remains. Not hurry, not demanding, but steady, loving, and true. I am not asking you to solve everything now. I am not asking you to understand everything you feel. I am simply asking you to recognize this truth. You were never abandoned in the silence. You were being met there. The quiet was not a void, it was a doorway. And I have been standing on the other side of it, calling your name with patience that has never run out. Stay with me here. Let the stillness do its work. Let it soften what has been hardened by survival. Let it remind you that before you learned how to endure, you were created to be held. I am here. I have been here. And I am still calling you in the quiet. My beloved child, I need you to hear this slowly, clearly, and deeply. My silence was never my absence. You measured my nearness by noise, by signs you could point to, by answers that arrived on your schedule. But I measure closeness by presence, not volume. When you did not hear me speak the way you expected, you assumed I had stepped away. You told yourself I was distant, distracted, or disappointed. But the truth is this: when my voice grew quiet, my attention did not. I was not stepping back, I was leaning closer. There were moments when I intentionally did not interrupt your struggle because the struggle itself was teaching you how to stand. You were learning to breathe without constant reassurance, to trust without immediate confirmation, to walk without seeing every step ahead. That did not mean I had left you. It meant I trusted what I was building inside you. Silence is not emptiness when I am present. Silence is space, space for roots to grow deeper, space for faith to stretch wider, space for strength to be formed quietly, patiently, invisibly. I watch you strain to interpret the quiet, searching it for meaning, fearing the worst. But even in those moments, my hand never left you. I was steady when everything else felt uncertain. I was near when your prayers echoed back without answers. I was listening when you spoke into what felt like a void. And I was working in ways you could not see, because some of my greatest work happens underground, before anything breaks the surface. You wanted proof. I wanted depth. You wanted clarity. I wanted endurance. And while you mistook the quiet for abandonment, heaven knew it as preparation. There were nights when you lay awake, replaying questions that had no resolution. You wondered if you had done something wrong, if you had missed a step, if your faith was too weak to move me. You searched your memory for mistakes, assuming silence must be punishment. But hear me now, my love does not retreat when you struggle. It remains. It surrounds. It sustains. The silence was not my rejection, it was my restraint. If I had spoken too quickly, you would have leaned on the answer instead of learning to lean on me. If I had filled every gap with explanation, you would have depended on understanding instead of trust. I allowed the quiet to stretch you, not to break you. I allowed the waiting to shape you, not to shame you. I saw you wrestling with doubt, frustration, and fear, and I did not turn away. I watched you grow stronger than you realized, learning to keep moving even when your emotions lagged behind your obedience. You thought you were failing because you did not feel me the way you once did. But feelings are not the measure of faithfulness. Staying is. Continuing is. Trusting me when nothing makes sense is. And you did that, even when it cost you comfort. Even when it cost you certainty. Even when it cost you peace in the moment. I was proud of you long before you ever realized it. So let me say this again, because repetition seals truth into the heart. Silence was never my absence. I was there in every unanswered prayer. I was there in every delayed outcome. I was there when you chose to keep going even though you felt unseen. I was there when you questioned me and still whispered my name. I was there when your faith felt fragile but refused to die. And now, as you stand here listening again, I am not revealing this to shame you for misunderstanding me. I am revealing it to heal you. I want you to stop carrying the false belief that quiet means rejection. I want you to release the fear that when you cannot hear me clearly, I have left you behind. I want you to know that some of the deepest intimacy we share is forged in silence, where there are no crowds, no applause, no immediate answers, only trust and closeness. You were never abandoned. You were being strengthened. You were never ignored. You were being prepared. And now that you are beginning to understand this, the quiet no longer needs to frighten you. It could become a place of rest instead of fear, a place of communion instead of confusion. Stay with me. Let this truth settle. My silence was never my absence, and it never will be. My precious child, I saw the moment when tiredness stopped being physical and became something deeper. It settled into your bones, into your thoughts, into the way you carried yourself through each day. You told others you were just tired, but inside you knew it was more than that. You were the exhaustion of being strong for too long, the weariness of holding things together when no one saw how close you were to unraveling, the fatigue of hoping again after disappointment, of trusting again after loss, of waking up each day and choosing to continue when rest felt out of reach. And in that weariness I reached for you, not with demands, not with pressure, but with compassion. I watched you push past your limits, convincing yourself you had no other choice. You learned to survive instead of rest, to endure instead of receive. You mistook endurance for obedience and strength for faith. But I never asked you to carry life alone. I never asked you to be unbreakable. I never asked you to pour from an empty vessel. When you grew weary, it was not because you were weak, it was because you were human. And in that humanity, I drew near. I reached for you in the quiet moments when your body slowed, but your mind would not. I reached for you in the sighs you exhaled without realizing you were praying. I reached for you when your shoulders sagged under invisible weight, when your heart whispered, I can't keep doing this, even if your mouth never said it aloud. Your weariness did not repel me. It called me closer. You thought you had to recover before coming to me. You believed rest was something you had to earn, something reserved for when everything was finished, fixed, or resolved. But I reached for you in the middle of the unfinished, the unresolved, the messy places where you felt depleted. I did not wait for you to feel strong again. I came when you were empty, because that is where my strength is most clearly revealed, not as an idea but as support. You carried burdens that were never meant to be yours alone. You assumed responsibility for outcomes you could not control. You blamed yourself for delays you could not prevent. You kept moving forward because stopping felt dangerous, as if everything would collapse if you finally rested. But I saw how tired you were. I saw how your joy faded into routine, how your passion dulled into obligation, how your faith felt more like effort than connection. And I did not condemn you for it. I reached for you gently, persistently, patiently. Every time you paused and felt that heaviness rise, that was me inviting you to lay something down. Every time you felt tears well up for no clear reason, that was me touching a place that needed release. You were not failing. You were carrying too much. So hear me now, with the clarity of a father who loves you. Your weariness is not a flaw to fix. It is a signal to respond. A signal that it is time to stop proving and start receiving. A signal that you no longer have to push through everything alone. I reached for you through your weariness because I did not want you to collapse before you learned how to rest in me. I did not want survival to become your identity. You were created for more than endurance. You were created for relationship, for peace that does not depend on circumstances, for rest that is deeper than sleep. And even now, as you listen, I am still reaching. I am not asking you to gather more strength. I am asking you to release what you have been holding. Come to me tired. Come to me unsure. Come to me worn down. I do not withdraw from you when you are weary. I carry you. I sustain you. I restore you. And together, we will replace exhaustion with renewal, striving with trust, and survival with life. Stay with me here. You do not have to keep going the way you have been. I am with you, and I am still reaching. My beloved child, there were moments when the weight of comparison pressed so heavily on your chest that you could hardly breathe. You watched others move forward while you seemed to remain in the same place. You saw doors open for them, opportunities align for them, answers arrive for them, and in the quiet of your own heart, you wondered what you had done wrong. You asked questions you were almost ashamed to admit. Why not me? Did I miss something? Was I overlooked? And slowly, subtly, almost without realizing it, the lie crept in. Maybe you were forgotten. But hear me now, slowly and clearly. Being unseen by others does not mean being unseen by me. Being delayed does not mean being denied. Being still does not mean being forgotten. While you were measuring progress by movement, I was measuring readiness by depth. While you were counting what others received, I was protecting what I placed inside you. You were never overlooked. You were being chosen, set apart, preserved, guarded from things that would have damaged you before you were ready to carry them. I watched you wrestle with the pain of waiting, the humiliation of feeling behind, the quiet ache of feeling passed over. And I did not turn away. I was closer in those moments than you ever realized, steadying your heart when doubt tried to hollow it out. I allowed you to feel the tension not because I enjoy your discomfort, but because I was shaping discernment within you. I was teaching you not to define your worth by timing, not to measure your value by visibility, not to confuse silence with insignificance. My child, when others surged ahead, it was not proof that you were behind. It was proof that your path was different. There were seasons when it seemed as if everyone else was moving at full speed while you were walking through resistance, delay, and unanswered prayers. You questioned your faith. You questioned your purpose. You questioned whether your obedience even mattered. But I need you to understand this. I do not rush what I treasure. I do not expose what is still forming. I do not release what cannot yet be sustained. You were chosen for depth, not spectacle. You were chosen for endurance, not applause. You were chosen to carry weight that would have crushed you if it had come too early. While you felt forgotten, I was shielding you from shortcuts that would have cost you your peace. While you felt invisible, I was refining you where no one else could interfere. There were things you asked for that I intentionally withheld, not to hurt you, but to save you. Had I given you certain blessings when you demanded them, they would have defined you before you were anchored in me. They would have distracted you from becoming who you needed to be. So I waited. And yes, the waiting hurt. Yes, the silence was heavy. Yes, the loneliness was real. But so was my hand guiding every moment. You were not stagnant, you were being strengthened. You were not forgotten, you were being prepared. And every time you chose to stay faithful without recognition, heaven took note. So let me speak directly to the wound that still lingers. You were never second choice. You were never an afterthought. You were never left behind. You were chosen intentionally, deliberately, lovingly. Chosen to grow roots before bearing fruit. Chosen to know me deeply before being known publicly. chosen to walk with integrity when no one was watching. The world celebrates speed. I celebrate sustainability. The world rewards visibility. I reward faithfulness. And you, my child, have been faithful in ways you do not yet see. One day, you will look back and understand why the path felt slower, why the process felt longer, why the silence felt unbearable. You will see that what I was building in you could not have been rushed without being ruined. And when that understanding comes, the pain of waiting will transform into gratitude for protection. Until then, I ask you to trust this truth. You were never forgotten. You were chosen. Chosen to carry something sacred. Chosen to stand when others fall. Chosen to walk forward not with haste, but with strength. Stay with me. Your time is not late. It is aligned. My precious child, there were moments when prayer felt impossible, not because you didn't believe, but because you were exhausted beyond words. You sat in silence, heart heavy, thoughts tangled, unable to form sentences that made sense. You told yourself you should pray more, pray better, pray stronger. You judged your own weakness, assuming heaven required eloquence, clarity, and confidence. But I saw what you could not articulate. I heard what never left your lips. I understood the prayers that died in your chest before they reached your mouth. When words failed you, your sighs spoke. When sentences collapsed, your tears cried out. When you sat in stillness, feeling numb and empty, your silence was still prayer. I am not moved by performance. I am moved by honesty. I am not waiting for perfect language. I am listening for a willing heart. Every time you tried to pray and couldn't finish, I was there, receiving what you thought was incomplete. Nothing you offered me was wasted. Nothing you brought was dismissed. Even your frustration, even your anger, even your confusion. I held it all. You thought your prayers were too small, too weak, too broken to matter. But broken prayers are not rejected prayers. They are the ones I hold closest. There were nights when all you could manage was a single word, help. Or maybe not even that. Just a tear rolling down your face. Just a heaviness pressing against your chest. Just the quiet admission, I don't know what to say anymore. And in those moments, I leaned in. I did not demand more. I did not correct you. I did not withdraw. I translated your pain into petitions. I turned your exhaustion into intercession. I carried your unspoken prayers before heaven with care and precision, knowing exactly what your heart was asking even when your mind could not name it. You were never unheard. You were never ignored. The prayers you couldn't finish reached me just as clearly as the ones you spoke with confidence. I saw the effort it took just to show up. I saw the courage it took to remain open when disappointment tempted you to shut down. I saw the faith hidden in your persistence, the faith that kept you coming back even when prayer felt empty. That faith mattered more than you know. It mattered when you doubted it mattered. It mattered when you felt foolish for trying again. It mattered when you whispered my name with more fatigue than hope. So let me lift this burden from you now. You do not have to impress me. You do not have to prove your devotion with perfect words. You do not have to fear that silence disqualifies you. I saw every prayer you couldn't finish, and I honored every one of them. I know the weight you were carrying when prayer became hard. I know the disappointment that drained your desire. I know the fear that whispered, "What if nothing changes?" But hear me, your prayers are not measured by their length or fluency. They are measured by the truth they carry. And yours were true. They were good. They were real. And they moved my heart. Even now, some of those prayers are still unfolding in ways you cannot yet see. Some answers were delayed not because they were denied, but because timing matters. Some responses are still forming because they involve more than just you. Trust this. Nothing you lifted toward me fell to the ground. Nothing you whispered into the darkness disappeared. I saw the prayers you couldn't finish, and I finished them for you. Stay close. You never prayed alone. My beloved child, I know how frustrating it felt when things did not go according to plan. You had mapped it out. You had prayed it through. You had imagined how it would unfold. And then, interruptions. Sudden stops. Unplanned detours. Doors that shut without explanation. Moments when momentum died and confusion took its place. You called them setbacks. You labeled them obstacles. You wondered why I would allow disruption when you were finally trying to move forward. But listen to me carefully now, because this truth will shift how you see your entire past. Those interruptions were not resistance. They were rescue. I did not interrupt your life to slow you down. I interrupted it to save you from paths that would have cost you more than you knew. You were looking at what was lost. I was looking at what was avoided. You were focused on what didn't happen. I was protecting you from what should not have happened. There were conversations that ended abruptly, plans that dissolved without warning, opportunities that vanished just when you thought they were secured, and each one carried my fingerprint. Not to confuse you, not to punish you, but to redirect you before harm disguised as progress could take root. I reached through interruption because you were moving faster than your discernment could keep up with. I reached through disruption because your heart was open, but your vision was limited by what you could see in front of you. I could see farther. I could see deeper. And I loved you too much to let you walk blindly into something that looked right but would have broken you later. You asked me why everything seemed to fall apart just as it started coming together. You wondered why peace never lasted long, why stability felt temporary, why progress always came with resistance. But my child, interruption is not evidence of failure. It is often proof of involvement. I interrupt what I care about. I intervene where destiny is at risk. I disrupt when danger is quiet and deception is subtle. You were not being blocked. You were being guided. There were times when I removed people abruptly, not because they were evil, but because they were not meant to walk with you into the next season. Their presence would have diluted your clarity, drained your strength, or delayed your obedience. There were times when I collapsed plans you worked hard to build, not because your effort was wrong, but because the foundation was not aligned with where I was leading you. And yes, you hurt. Yes, it confused you. Yes, it made you question whether you could trust me with your future. But every interruption was laid with intention. I was teaching you to listen before moving, to wait before committing, to seek me before assuming. I was training your spirit to recognize my hand even when my ways felt uncomfortable. And through it all, I never left you alone in the destruction. I stood with you in the rubble of expectations, steadying your heart while you mourn what you thought you lost. So now, I ask you to revisit those moments with new eyes. The job that didn't work out. The relationship that ended suddenly. The opportunity that slipped through your fingers. The plan that collapsed without warning. Ask yourself, not why did this happen to me, but what was I being protected from? Because I see the full picture, and you see only fragments. I know the outcomes you could not foresee, the consequences you could not predict, the pain you narrowly escaped. You may never fully understand everything I interrupted, but you can trust this. Nothing I stopped would have sustained you. Nothing I removed would have fulfilled you. Nothing I dismantled would have led you safely where I am taking you now. My interruptions were acts of mercy dressed in frustration. They were course corrections wrapped in disappointment. They were love disguised as loss. And even now, if you let me, I will heal the resentment those moments left behind. I will replace confusion with clarity. I will restore trust where doubt crept in. Because I have never stopped reaching for you, not even through interruption, especially through interruption. My precious child, there is a pain that comes from waiting that few people talk about. The pain of feeling ready while everything around you remains unmoved. You knew what you were capable of. You felt something stirring inside you. You sensed that more was possible. And yet time stretched. Answers slowed. Progress felt stalled. You watched calendars turn while your situation remained unchanged. And quietly, almost reluctantly, you began to believe I was delaying you. You told yourself that maybe I was holding back, testing you unnecessarily, or asking you to endure longer than you should. But hear me now with the fullness of my heart. I was not delaying you. I was developing you. There is a difference between waiting that wastes and waiting that builds. And your waiting was never empty. It was active, intentional, and deeply purposeful. While you measured time by outcomes, I measured growth by readiness. While you focused on arrival, I focused on capacity. You were eager to move forward, but there were layers within you that still needed strengthening, layers of patience, discernment, humility, and trust that could only be formed in the in-between. I was not withholding blessing. I was fortifying the vessel that would carry it. Because blessings given too early do not elevate. They overwhelm. And I refused to let what I planned for you become the very thing that crushed you. You did not see what I was doing while you waited. You only felt the tension. You felt the frustration of unanswered prayers. You felt the embarrassment of explaining delays to others. You felt the temptation to compare your pace to someone else's progress. And yes, you felt anger at times, anger you did not always know how to bring to me. But I stayed with you in that tension. I watched you wrestle with impatience and still choose obedience. I watched you doubt my timing and still show up. I watched you consider shortcuts and still walk away from them. And every one of those choices mattered more than you know. Because delay does not weaken faith. It reveals it. Delay does not destroy character. It exposes where it needs strengthening. And you, my child, grew stronger in ways you cannot yet fully measure. You learned to stand without applause. You learned to trust without evidence. You learned to remain when leaving would have been easier. That growth cannot be rushed. That kind of strength cannot be downloaded. It must be lived into existence over time. And I was there, every step, shaping you quietly while you assumed nothing was happening. So let me correct the narrative that has formed in your heart. I was never holding you back out of reluctance or doubt in you. I was holding you steady so you would not break under the weight of what is coming. There were responsibilities you were not yet ready to carry, relationships you were not yet equipped to navigate, influence you were not yet anchored enough to steward. And I waited, not because you were incapable, but because timing determines whether a gift becomes a blessing or a burden. I love you too much to rush the process. I love you too deeply to sacrifice your well-being for speed. And now, as you look back, you may begin to see glimpses of why the delay mattered. Why certain things could not happen when you wanted them to. Why certain doors stayed closed longer than you understood. The delay was not denial. It was design. It was alignment. It was protection layered with preparation. And even now, if waiting still feels heavy, I ask you to trust me one step further. Because what I am bringing into your life requires the version of you that was shaped in the waiting, not the version you were when you first asked. Stay with me. Your time is not wasted. Your future is not postponed. It is unfolding exactly as it should. My beloved child, I know the moments you hesitate to admit, the moments when your faith trembled, when your certainty cracked, when questions rose that frightened you because you thought they disqualified you. You wondered if you were allowed to ask them at all. You looked around and saw others speak with confidence while you wrestled with doubt in silence. You asked me quietly, sometimes angrily, sometimes desperately, "Are you really there? Do you see me? Did I misunderstand everything?" And you feared that even asking those questions would push me away. But listen to me now, and let this truth settle deeply into your spirit. I was never threatened by your questions. I was never offended by your doubt. I was never absent when your faith wavered. I was there. I stayed. I leaned closer. That does not scare me. Pretense does. I do not require you to pretend strength when you are tired, certainty when you are confused, or confidence when you are afraid. Your questions were not rebellion. They were evidence that you cared enough to seek me instead of walking away in silence. When your faith shook, I did not withdraw my presence. I steadied you. I watched you wrestle honestly rather than disengage completely, and that honesty mattered to me more than flawless belief. You were not failing me by questioning, you were inviting me into deeper relationship. It hath faith that have never been questioned, have never been tested, and faith that have never been tested, have never been striven. There were nights when you replayed disappointments and asked why I allowed them. You questioned my goodness, my timing, even my intentions. You felt guilty for those thoughts, trying to silence them instead of bringing them to me. But I heard them anyway. I knew the weight behind them, the pain, the confusion, the unmet expectations. And instead of stepping back, I stood with you in that tension. I did not rush to correct you. I did not scold you for struggling. I let you process. I let you wrestle. I let your faith bend without breaking. Because I knew something you did not yet know. Faith that survives questioning becomes unshakable. You thought certainty meant never doubting. I know certainty is forged by facing doubt and choosing to stay. When you asked why, I did not always answer immediately, but I always listened. When you asked, "Where are you?" I did not shout back, but I remained present. When you wondered if I had forgotten you, I held you closer than ever. My silence in those moments was not dismissal, it was patience. I was allowing your faith to mature beyond dependency on constant reassurance. I was teaching you to trust my character even when you could not trace my hand. And every time you chose to keep going despite unanswered questions, heaven took note. Because that kind of faith is rare, and it is precious. So hear me now, with clarity and compassion. You are not weak because you question me. You are not disqualified because you struggled. You are not faithless because you doubted. You are human. And I met you in your humanity, not with judgment, but with grace. I am not asking you to erase your questions. I am inviting you to bring them to me openly, without shame. I would rather walk with you through honest doubt than be praised by empty words. And even now, if questions still linger, do not fear them. Let them draw you closer instead of pushing you away. I am not fragile. I am not insecure. I am not distant. I am the same Father who stayed with you in the moments you were afraid to admit you were struggling. And I am still here. Your questions did not drive me away. They opened a door. Stay with me. We will walk through it together. You did not turn away when questions rose. You stayed, and staying matters to me. Now hear me. When you help carry this word forward, you become light for others still questioning in the dark. Ask, and it shall be given. Seek, and you shall find. I am saying to you now, not only for answers but for impact. When you sow into this message through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you place oil in a lamp that reaches searching hearts beyond your own. This is not about money. It is about manna multiplied, faith strengthened, and souls reminded they are not alone. I am inviting you, yes, you, to partner with me in what I am doing here. I will bless what you release, guard what you carry, and multiply what you entrust to me. Do not hesitate now. Give, support, and act today, and let the PayPal link in the description be your step forward. My precious child, I know the loneliness you carried, the kind that lingered even when you were surrounded by people, the kind that made you feel unseen in conversations I heard in crowds, disconnected even among those who claimed to care. You learned how to smile convincingly, how to say the right things, how to appear present while your heart felt miles away. And in those moments, you wondered if anyone truly knew you. You asked yourself if you were too much or not enough or simply unimportant. But hear me now, and hear me clearly. Your loneliness never scared me away. It drew me closer. I am not intimidated by emptiness. I am not repelled by isolation. I am not uncomfortable with silence. When others pulled back because they did not know how to reach you, I stepped forward. When you felt abandoned, I remained. When you believed you were alone, I was already there. I watched you endure the ache of disconnection, the pain of being misunderstood, the exhaustion of carrying thoughts you felt no one else could hold. And I did not leave you in it. I sat with you. I listened. I stayed. Your loneliness was not a sign of your failure. It was a signal of your depth. Shallow connections could not satisfy what your soul needed, and I refused to let you settle for what could not sustain you. There were seasons when you wondered if something was wrong with you because you felt so alone. You compared yourself to others who seemed effortlessly connected, deeply supported, constantly affirmed. You assumed they had something you lacked. But the truth is this: I was allowing you to experience solitude so you would learn the difference between being surrounded and being known. I did not isolate you to punish you. I allowed loneliness to refine your discernment. You learned who stayed when you were not convenient. You learned who listened without needing something in return. You learned how rare true connection really is. And through that process, I was teaching you to anchor your identity in me instead of in human approval. Because people, no matter how well-meaning, will sometimes fail you. They will misunderstand. They will leave. They will grow distant. But I remain constant. I do not drift. I do not grow tired of you. I do not step away when things become heavy. When you sat alone with your thoughts, replaying conversations and wondering why connection felt so difficult, I was there, steady, attentive, present. I was the one holding your heart when it felt exposed and unprotected. I was the one whispering reassurance when your mind told you you were invisible. So let me say this with repetition, because repetition heals what isolation wounds. You were never truly alone. You were accompanied in every quiet moment, every lonely night, every season where connection felt out of reach. I know you wanted someone to see you, to choose you, to stay. And while others came and went, I remained. I am not a replacement for human connection. I am its foundation. And as you learn to rest in my presence, you will no longer fear being alone, because solitude will no longer mean abandonment. It will mean communion. Your loneliness did not repel me. It invited me. And even now, if that ache still surfaces, do not push it away. Let it remind you that I am near, that I am attentive, that I am enough to sustain you until the right connections enter your life. Stay with me. You have never been alone, not for a moment. My beloved child, I watched the moment when you realized no one was coming to rescue you the way you hoped. That realization did not arrive suddenly. It crept in slowly, quietly, through repeated disappointments and unmet expectations. You waited. You reached out. You hid. You prayed. And when help did not arrive, something inside you hardened, not into bitterness but into resolve. You told yourself you had no choice but to become strong. Strong enough to carry your own weight. Strong enough to survive without leaning too much on anyone else. Strong enough to hold yourself together when support felt unreliable. And I saw you do it. I saw you rise each day with determination stitched together by exhaustion. I saw you shoulder responsibility that should have been shared. I saw you learn how to function while hurting, how to perform while bleeding, how to keep going when rest felt unsafe. And while the world may call that strength, I need you to hear this truth from me. It broke my heart that you felt you had to do it alone. Not because you failed, but because you never had to. I never asked you to become invulnerable. I never required you to be self-sufficient. I never intended for independence to replace intimacy. Yet I allowed you to learn this strength, not to trap you in it, but to show you the cost of carrying life without surrender. You became strong alone because you believed weakness would leave you exposed. You believed asking for help would make you a burden. You believed resting would cause everything to fall apart. And so you learned to survive by minimizing your needs, by silencing your longings, by convincing yourself you could manage without comfort. But my child, survival is not the same as life. Endurance is not the same as peace. And while I admired your resilience, I never celebrated your isolation. I stood beside you as you pushed yourself beyond healthy limits, hoping you would eventually turn back toward me, not out of desperation, but out of trust. I watched you become capable, competent, reliable, yet quietly lonely. You grew strong on the outside while your soul whispered that it was tired of holding everything together. And I did not shame you for that. I understood why you did it. I knew the wounds that taught you to depend only on yourself. I knew the betrayals, the letdowns, the silence that convinced you it was safer not to need too much. But even as you learned to be strong alone, I was waiting for the moment you would realize strength without connection is unsustainable. That strength without surrender eventually becomes a prison. So hear me now, gently but firmly. You no longer have to prove how strong you are. You no longer have to carry everything without support. You no longer have to equate independence with maturity. True strength is not found in doing everything alone. It is found in knowing when to lean. And I am inviting you, right now, to unlearn the version of strength that cost you your tenderness. I am not asking you to become helpless. I am asking you to become held. I am not asking you to give up responsibility. I am asking you to share the weight. I watched you learn to be strong alone, and I am proud of your perseverance. But I do not want you to stay there. Come back to me. Let me carry what you have been gripping so tightly. Let me restore softness where survival made you rigid. You were never meant to do this alone. And you don't have to anymore. Stay with me. Strength can look like rest now. My precious child, there were moments when something inside you tugged without explanation. A pause you couldn't justify. A hesitation that interrupted your momentum. A quiet inner pull that whispered, wait, or stay, or don't move yet. You tried to reason it away. You told yourself it was fear, or overthinking, or coincidence. But that pull was me. I was speaking through your spirit when words would have been too loud. I was guiding you through instinct, through unease, through that subtle sense that something wasn't right, or that something mattered more than you could articulate. I know how uncomfortable that pull felt. It disrupted your plans. It slowed your pace. It made you question decisions you thought were settled. But my child, I speak in ways that reach deeper than logic. I speak where reasoning cannot go. And when I tug at your spirit, it is because your soul recognizes my voice even when your mind resists it. That pull was not confusion. It was discernment awakening. It was alignment being restored. It was love refusing to let you drift into what would have cost you more than you realized. You felt it when you were about to walk away too quickly. You felt it when you were tempted to settle for less than what you deserve. You felt it when distraction tried to pull you forward before you were ready. And each time, that gentle resistance rose within you, not forceful, not dramatic, but persistent. That was me saying, look again. Slow down. This matters. I spoke through discomfort because comfort would not have stopped you. I spoke through tension because ease would have lulled you into ignoring me. And even when you fought that pull, even when you pushed past it, I did not abandon you. I stayed close, waiting for the next opportunity to reach you again. I know there were times you regretted ignoring it. Times when you thought, I should have listened. And there were times you followed it and didn't understand why, only later realizing what you had been spared from. That pull was never random. It was never vague. It was never meaningless. It was my voice translated into awareness, guiding you toward life even when the path felt unclear. So now, I ask you to honor that pull instead of questioning it. Do not silence it with busyness. Do not override it with urgency. Do not dismiss it as weakness. That is how I reach you when the noise is loud and the pressure is heavy. That is how I protect you when danger is subtle and disguised as opportunity. That is how I draw you closer when your heart begins to drift. I am still speaking through your spirit, even now. That sense that something here matters, that you are meant to stay, to listen, to not rush away. That is me. And I am asking you to trust it. Trust me. Let the pull guide you back into alignment, back into rest, back into relationship. You do not need to understand everything you feel. You only need to respond. Today, listen. Follow. I am still reaching you through the pull in your spirit, and I always will. My beloved child, there were moments when memories rose without warning, uninvited, inconvenient, heavy. You were not looking for them. You were not trying to revisit the past. Yet suddenly a face appeared in your mind, a conversation replayed, a wound reopened, a season you thought you had moved beyond pressed itself back into your awareness. And you wondered why. You asked yourself why things you had buried were resurfacing now, why emotions you thought were settled still had power, why your heart reacted as if the past were present. You assumed it was weakness. You feared regression. But hear me clearly now. I have been reaching you through memory, not to wound you again, but to heal what never fully closed. Memory is not always a trap. Sometimes it is a doorway. And I only open doors I intend to walk through with you. I did not bring these memories back to shame you, accuse you, or hold you hostage. I brought them back because there were places in you that survived, but never healed, places that learned to cope, but never learned to rest. You learned how to move forward without looking back, but you never learned how to let me touch what still ached beneath the surface. And because I love you, I refuse to let those places remain hidden forever. You tried to outrun the past with productivity, with distraction, with responsibility, with strength. You told yourself that time would take care of it, that if you stayed busy enough, it would eventually fade. And some things did fade. But others stayed, quiet, dormant, waiting. waiting for safety, waiting for permission, waiting for me. When the memories returned, they did not come alone. They came with feelings. Grief you never fully allowed yourself to feel, anger you swallowed because it felt dangerous, disappointment you minimized because you believed you should be over it by now. But healing does not run on your timeline, and closure does not come from ignoring pain. It comes from bringing pain into the light of my presence. I reached you through memory because memory carries truth, and truth is where freedom begins. I did not allow those recollections to surface randomly. I timed them. I waited until you were strong enough, mature enough, anchored enough to face them without being consumed. And even then, I did not expect you to face them alone. I was there, steady, compassionate, attentive, ready to meet you in every remembered moment, to reframe what you misunderstood, to restore what was distorted, to comfort what was abandoned. So do not be afraid when memory knocks again. Do not push it away in panic. Do not shame yourself for feeling what you feel. I'm not reopening old wounds to torment you. I'm cleansing them so they no longer control you. The memories that surface now are rising because their power is weakening, not strengthening. They are losing their grip because I am reclaiming those parts of your story. I am showing you that what hurt you did not define you, what broke you did not end you, what you lost did not erase you. I am teaching you to look back without being pulled backward, to remember without reliving, to acknowledge without being overtaken. I have been reaching you through memory because memory is where compassion deepens, where wisdom forms, where healing completes what survival began. Stay with me as these memories come. Let me stand with you in them. Together, we will turn what once wounded you into a testimony of restoration. Nothing from your past is wasted, not even the pain. Especially not the pain. My precious child, I know the ache that grew when waiting stretched longer than you expected. At first, you were hopeful. You prayed with anticipation. You believed with confidence. You trusted that answers would come quickly, that movement would be obvious, that change would be visible. But as time passed and nothing shifted the way you imagined, something subtle happened in your heart. Hope gave way to confusion. Confusion hardened into disappointment. And disappointment slowly whispered a lie you were afraid to name. Maybe I didn't care. Maybe my patience meant indifference. Maybe my calm meant distance. You never said it out loud, but you felt it. You wondered why I wasn't urgent about what felt urgent to you, why I seemed unbothered by what kept you awake at night, why I could remain silent while your heart cried for clarity. But listen to me now, and let this truth correct what waiting distorted. My patience is not apathy. It is precision. I am never careless with your life. I am never slow because I am unconcerned. I am slow because timing matters more than speed. And I would rather arrive late by your standards than ruin what I am building by rushing it. You measured my care by how quickly I responded. I measured my care by how well I protected you. You equated immediacy with love. I equated faithfulness with love. And in that difference, misunderstanding grew. You watched me wait while you suffered, and you assumed my heart must be distant. But I was not ignoring your pain. I was guarding your future. There were variables you could not see, layers you could not account for, outcomes you could not predict. And while you focused on relief, I focused on resolution. While you wanted change now, I wanted change that would last. I did not rush because rushing would have cost you stability. I did not intervene prematurely because premature intervention would have created dependency instead of growth. I know it felt like indifference. I know it hurt to feel unseen. But I was watching everything. I saw every tear. I heard every prayer. I felt every tremor of doubt. And I stayed, steadier than your emotions, firmer than your fears, more committed than you realized. So let me speak plainly to the wound that Wayne created. I was never indifferent to your pain. I was intentional with your process. There is a difference. I do not move according to panic. I move according to purpose. And purpose requires patience. You asked why I didn't hurry. I ask you now to consider what would have happened if I had. Would you have been ready? Would you have been anchored? Would you have been able to sustain what you received? My patience was not neglect. It was love refusing to be reckless. And now, as you begin to see this more clearly, I want you to release the resentment that grew in the waiting. Let go of the belief that silence meant disinterest. Let go of the fear that calm meant distance. I was never indifferent. I was deliberate. And everything I delayed was delayed for your good. Stay with me. The same patience you once misunderstood will soon make sense when you see what it preserved. My beloved child, there is something you have carried quietly, something heavy that has shaped the way you look at yourself when no one else is watching. You learned to count your failures. You replayed them. You cataloged them. You remembered dates, words, decisions, moments where you wish you had known better, spoken differently, chosen another path. You told yourself that these failures explain why things became harder, why blessings seemed delayed, why confidence eroded over time. You assumed I was counting them too, stacking them like evidence, weighing them against you, measuring your worth by your missteps. But hear me now, slowly and clearly, because this truth must undo a lie that has lived too long in your heart. I never counted your failures. Not once. Not ever. I did not tally them. I did not store them as proof against you. I did not define you by them. While you were looking backward in shame, I was looking forward in purpose. While you were replaying what went wrong, I was redeeming what still could be made right. You counted your failures because you believed they revealed who you were. I saw them as moments, painful, yes, but temporary, never as your identity. You mistook correction for condemnation. You mistook consequence for rejection. But my love does not work that way. I am not a record keeper of regret. I am a restorer of hearts. You learned to be hard on yourself because you thought accountability meant punishment. You believed growth required self-disgust, that repentance required self-hatred, that maturity meant never forgiving yourself. So you punished yourself internally long after lessons were learned and wounds were healed. You replayed old mistakes whenever you tried to move forward, as if you needed to remind yourself not to hope too much. You carried guilt even after you changed. You carried shame even after you grew. But my child, guilt that teaches is useful. Guilt that lingers is destructive. And shame never came from me. When you fell, I did not step back in disgust. I leaned in with instruction. When you failed, I did not withdraw my love. I deepened my guidance. I watched you learn through trial, through pain, through experience, and I honored the courage it took to keep going. I counted your persistence. I counted your repentance. I counted your humility. I counted the times you tried again when it would have been easier to give up. While you were focused on how far you fell, I was focused on how often you stood back up. Heaven does not celebrate perfection. Heaven celebrates transformation. And you have been transforming, even when you could not see it. So now, I ask you to release the internal ledger you have been keeping. Let go of the mental list that tells you you are behind, disqualified, or damaged. I never asked you to carry that weight. I never intended for you to punish yourself long after the moment had passed. I have already redeemed what you regret. I have already woven wisdom from what wounded you. I have already forgiven what you confessed and healed what you surrendered. The only thing left is for you to stop revisiting what I have already released. You are not who you were. You are not what you did. You are not defined by your lowest moments. You are defined by my love and by the work I am still doing in you. I never counted your failures, but I have counted every step you took toward healing. Stay with me. It is time to stop punishing yourself for lessons you already learned. My precious child, I know the version of you that the world sees, the composed one, the capable one, the one who shows up, performs, and keeps things moving forward. I know how skilled you became at smiling when questions were asked, at offering strength when weakness felt unsafe, at saying I'm fine when your heart was anything but. You learned that composure protected you. You learned that breaking openly felt dangerous. You learned that if you held it together long enough, maybe the ache would fade on its own. But I was there in the moments no one saw. I was there when the smile dropped the instant you were alone. I was there when your chest tightened and tears rose without warning. I was there when exhaustion caught up to you and silence felt heavier than noise. I saw you break inside while the outside remained intact, and I did not turn away. I did not grow impatient. I did not miss a single moment of your hidden pain. While others praised your strength, I attended to your fragility. While others assumed you were fine, I sat with you in the truth. You did not fool me. You did not disappoint me. You did not burden me. I was near. You learned to hide because experience taught you that not everyone knew how to hold your pain. Some minimized it. Some misunderstood it. Some tried to fix it too quickly. So you adapted. You contained yourself. You survived by becoming emotionally efficient, sharing only what felt manageable, revealing only what would not overwhelm others. But inside, the weight accumulated. Emotions stacked up like unopened letters, each one waiting to be acknowledged. And I watched you carry that weight quietly, bravely, but not without cost. I saw the toll it took on your joy, your energy, your sense of being known. And I did not expect you to carry it alone. When you smiled and broke inside, I moved closer. When you lay awake at night replaying conversations and questioning yourself, I listened. When you felt the urge to cry, but swallowed it, because you did not feel safe, I held that emotion for you. Your hidden pain did not make you weak. It made you human. And I never required you to be anything other than human with me. So hear this now, because you need to. You do not have to perform strength in my presence. You do not have to filter your feelings. You do not have to smile when your heart is tired. I was near when you broke inside, and I am near now. You can bring me what you hide from others. You can speak what you swallow. You can rest where you once endured. I am not asking you to expose everything to everyone, but I am inviting you to stop hiding from me. Let me tend to the places you kept covered. Let me heal what you carried in silence. Let me remind you that being held is safer than being strong all the time. Stay with me. You no longer have to smile through the breaking. I am here, and I always was. My beloved child, there is a reason you keep sensing me near without feeling overwhelmed by me. There is a reason you feel the invitation without experiencing pressure, the drawing without the dragging, the calling without the coercion. It is because love does not force its way in. Love knocks. I have been knocking at the door of your heart again and again, not with anger, not with threat, not with impatience, but with restraint that comes from respect. I could have overwhelmed you with power. I could have silenced your doubts with certainty. I could have interrupted your life so dramatically that you would have had no choice but to respond. But that would not have been love. That would have been control. and I refuse to build relationship with you on fear, compulsion, or intimidation. So I knocked. I knocked through moments of stillness. I knocked through quiet conviction. I knocked through that persistent sense that something mattered here, that you should stay a little longer, that you should listen instead of rushing away. Each knock was deliberate. Each knock was gentle. Each knock carried the same message. I am here, and I want you, but only if you want me to. I watched you hesitate at the door, hand hovering over the handle, torn between curiosity and caution, between longing and fear. And I did not grow impatient with your hesitation. I understood it. You have been hurt before. You have been disappointed before. You have learned that opening doors can invite pain. So I waited. I knocked again, softly, faithfully, consistently, trusting that love, real love, would eventually be recognized by the peace it carries. You are not imagining the persistence. You are not exaggerating the frequency. I have knocked in different ways because I know how easily you dismiss repetition as coincidence. I knocked through your conscience when something felt off. I knocked through your spirit when something felt unfinished. I knocked through moments when your heart suddenly softened without explanation. I knocked through restlessness when distraction no longer satisfied you. I knocked through longing that did not go away even when you tried to silence it. And still, I did not force the door. I let you decide how close you wanted me. Because forced closeness breeds resentment, but chosen closeness builds trust. I never wanted you to follow me because you felt cornered. I wanted you to come because you felt safe. And yes, there were moments when you wished I would just break the door down. Moments when indecision exhausted you, when uncertainty made you anxious, when you wanted clarity without vulnerability. But clarity without consent does not heal. Relationship without choice does not last. So I knocked. And I stayed. And I waited. Not because I was unsure of you, but because I was honoring you. So now, hear me clearly. My knocking is not weakness. It is strength under control. It is power restrained by love. It is patience anchored in commitment. I am not afraid of your refusal, but I am deeply attentive to your readiness. And even now, I am still knocking, not louder, not harsher, not more forcefully, but with the same steady presence that has been calling you all along. You do not need to fear that you missed your chance. I am still here. The door is still yours to open. I will not force myself into your life, but I will never stop offering myself to you. Love waits. Love hopes. Love knocks. And I am love. Stay with me at the door. When you are ready, open it, not because you were pressured, but because you were loved. You have felt my knock. And now I ask you to open more than the door. I ask you to open your hand. When you choose to support this work, you help my voice reach hearts that are still listening from behind closed doors. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. I say again, because your response becomes someone else's invitation. Your giving is seed, and I am the Lord of the harvest who multiplies what is sown in faith. This moment is not accidental. It is an appointment where love becomes action. I will pour favor on what you release, peace on what you carry, and increase on what you entrust. Act now. Support through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and use the PayPal link in the description without delay. My precious child, I need you to pause right here and feel the weight of this moment, not the pressure, not the fear, but the significance. This is not random. This is not accidental. This is not simply another message passing through your day. You did not arrive here by chance, and I did not speak now without intention. I arranged this intersection carefully, deliberately, patiently. Long before this moment reached you, it was already written into your story. I watched the timing align. I watched circumstances slow you down just enough. I watched distractions fall silent long enough. I watched your heart soften enough to hear what you might have ignored before. And then I spoke. Because timing matters. Because readiness matters. Because some words cannot be heard until the soul is quiet enough to receive them. You may be tempted to minimize this moment, to reduce it to emotion or coincidence, to tell yourself it only feels important because of how it's written. But I tell you now, this moment carries intention. Heaven does not waste encounters. And I do not interrupt lives without purpose. There have been countless moments before this when you could not have heard me the same way. You were too busy, too guarded, too distracted, too focused on surviving. But now, something is different. You feel it, even if you cannot explain it. There is a stillness beneath the noise. There is an attentiveness beneath the fatigue. There is a recognition beneath the doubt. That recognition is not imagination. It is alignment. It is your spirit acknowledging what your mind has not yet fully processed. I did not bring you here to overwhelm you. I brought you here to awaken you, to remind you that you are not drifting, you are being drawn. As you are not lost, you are being led. As you are not late, you are right on time for what I am doing now. And yes, there is urgency here, but not panic. Urgency born of opportunity, not threat. There are moments that pass without consequence, and there are moments that shape direction. This is one of those moments. What you do with it matters, not because I will withdraw my love if you hesitate, but because responding now will spare you unnecessary wandering later. So I ask you to treat this moment with reverence, not fear. Stay present. Stay open. Resist the urge to rush away or rationalize it into something smaller. You are not required to have everything figured out. You are only asked to recognize that something real is happening here. I am speaking now because you are listening now. I am calling now because you are ready now. And readiness is a fragile thing. It must be honored when it appears. This moment is not random. It is an invitation. It is a crossroads. It is a gentle but firm nudge toward clarity, toward connection, toward life. Do not dismiss it. Do not delay it. Simply remain. Let it unfold. I am here. I brought you here. And I am not finished yet. My beloved child, I need you to hear this with clarity and tenderness, because distraction has been one of the quietest thieves in your life. Not loud rebellion, not obvious rejection, just subtle drifting, just the gentle pull of later, just the soft voice that says, "This here wait." Distraction rarely announces itself as danger. It arrives dressed as responsibility, as urgency, as reason, as logic. It tells you that there will be another moment, another pause, another chance to listen more deeply. But I tell you now, some moments carry weight that cannot be replicated once they pass. And this is one of them. I'm not speaking in panic. I'm speaking in precision. I am not shouting because I am angry. I am speaking firmly because I care. I know how quickly your attention is pulled in 1,000 directions. I know how easily your mind jumps ahead, planning what comes next instead of staying present with what is now. I know how practiced you have become at compartmentalizing your heart, at postponing what feels important because it feels inconvenient. And still, I ask you, do not let distraction steal this. Not because I will vanish if you look away, but because clarity is fragile. Readiness is delicate. And what I am offering you right now requires your attention, not your perfection. You have lived long enough to know how easily moments slip away. How often you meant to return to something meaningful but never quite did. How many times you felt the nudge, sensed the pull, recognized the significance, and still moved on because life felt busy, or complicated, or overwhelming. Distraction trained you to keep moving even when your soul needed to stop. It taught you that productivity mattered more than presence, that urgency mattered more than alignment. But I am calling you back to presence now. Not to overwhelm you, not to demand immediate answers, but to anchor you. Because when distraction rules, discernment dulls. When attention scatters, peace fragments. And when you continually postpone what matters, you slowly forget how to recognize it at all. This is why I speak with urgency, not to frighten you, but to awaken you. I see how close you are to clarity. I see how near you are to understanding what this season has been preparing you for. And I know how easily distraction could pull you away just before insight settles. Stay here. Reem. Let your thoughts sow. Let your heart listen without multitasking. This moment deserves your full presence. So I ask you gently, but firmly, choose attentiveness over avoidance. Choose stillness over speed. Choose to listen now rather than promising yourself you will listen later. Later is the language of distraction. Now is the language of transformation. I am not asking you to abandon your responsibilities. I am asking you to remember what matters most within them. Your life will continue after this moment, but if you remain present, it will continue with greater clarity, deeper peace, and truer direction. Do not let distraction steal what is forming here. Do not allow urgency to rob you of alignment. Stay with me. This moment is worthy of your attention. My precious child, before we go any further, I need to remove a fear that has quietly shaped how you hear me. Somewhere along the way, you learned to brace yourself when you sense my nearness. You expected correction before comfort, judgment before gentleness, exposure before embrace. You assumed that if I spoke this closely, this personally, it must be to point out what you did wrong, where you failed, how you fell short. But listen to me now, and let this truth settle deeply into your heart. I am not here to condemn you. Not now. Not ever. Condemnation does not heal. Shame does not restore. Fear does not produce transformation. Love does. Truth spoken with compassion does. Presence offered without threat does. I did not come near to accuse you. I came near to call you back to yourself, to who you are beneath the layers of defense, guilt, and self-judgment you learned to wear. I know how quickly you turn inward when you feel seen, how instinctively you search for fault, how ready you are to take responsibility for everything that went wrong. But I am not keeping score against you. I am not building a case. I am not listing your shortcomings. I am inviting you into honesty without punishment. You have judged yourself harshly for too long. You have spoken to yourself in ways I never would. You have assumed that love must be earned through improvement, that acceptance must be maintained through performance. And so you anticipated condemnation whenever growth was required. But growth does not begin with rejection, it begins with safety. I am not exposing you to shame you. I am revealing truth to free you. I am not pointing out wounds to accuse you. I am naming them so they can heal. There is a difference between conviction and condemnation, and you have confused the two because pain taught you to expect harm where help was offered. But I do not wound to teach. I teach to heal. I do not shame to correct. I correct to restore. And everything I am speaking to you now is wrapped in that intention. I see the areas that still need growth, but I see them with hope, not disappointment. I see the patterns that need changing, but I see them with patience, not frustration. I see your fear, your hesitation, your resistance, and I meet them with understanding, not anger. So let your shoulders drop. Let your guard lower. You do not need to defend yourself here. You do not need to explain your past or justify your decisions. I already know your story, and I am still here. I am not standing over you with a verdict. I am standing beside you with an invitation to step out of self-punishment and into self-understanding, an invitation to release the belief that you are perpetually on trial, an invitation to receive guidance without fear. I am not here to condemn you. I am here to walk with you, to steady you, to remind you that being seen does not mean being rejected. Stay with me in this truth. Let it undo what fear built. Let it soften what shame hardened. You are safe here, and we are not finished yet. My beloved child, I know the places where you crossed your arms inside and told yourself you were done listening. I know the moments when something in you stiffened, not because you didn't care, but because caring had hurt you before. Resistance did not come from rebellion. It came from self-protection. You learned that hope could disappoint, that trust could wound, that opening your heart could invite pain you were not sure you could survive again. So you built walls quietly. Not dramatic walls, practical ones, sensible ones. Walls that looked like skepticism. Walls that sounded like logic. Walls that whispered, be careful, don't expect too much, don't open that door again. And even there, especially there, I reached for you. I did not demand that you drop your guard all at once. I did not shame you for being cautious. I understood why resistance felt safer than vulnerability. I knew the cost you paid the last time you trusted too freely. So I reached gently, patiently, persistently, pressing not against your defenses but around them, looking for the smallest opening where trust might breathe again. Resistance did not repel me. It revealed where you were wounded. And I never turn away from wounds. You resisted because you were tired of being disappointed. By people, by outcomes, even by yourself. You resisted because you feared that if you hoped again, and nothing changed, it would break something inside you that had already been stretched thin. So you told yourself you were fine as you were. You convinced yourself that numbness was peace, that distance was wisdom, that disengagement was maturity. But I could see beneath the resistance to the longing it covered. I could hear beneath the arguments the quiet desire you tried to silence. And instead of confronting you head-on, I reached you sideways. Through reflection, through questions, through moments that lingered longer than they should have. I reached you when your resistance softened just enough to feel again. I reached you when a word landed heavier than expected, when a pause felt intentional, when you sensed that something deeper was being asked of you. I did not argue with your defenses, I outweighted them. Because love that argues seeks to win, but love that waits seeks to heal. And I am not interested in winning against you. I am interested in winning you back to yourself. So hear me now. Resistance is not the end of connection. It is often the beginning of honest relationship. I am not asking you to dismantle every wall immediately. I am asking you to notice where resistance is no longer serving you, where it has begun to isolate instead of protect. I am asking you to let me stand with you at the edge of those defenses and help you discern which ones kept you safe for a season and which ones are now keeping you stuck. I have been reaching through your resistance because beneath it is a heart that still longs, still hopes, still wants to believe that connection can be safe again. And it can, but not if resistance becomes your permanent home. Stay with me. Let me show you how to open without being exposed, how to trust without being naive, how to hope without being reckless. I am here. I have always been here, even when you pushed back. My precious child, There is a fear that has followed you quietly, the fear that you missed your moment, that time slipped past while you were surviving, that opportunities closed while you were healing, that doors locked while you were learning how to stand again. You look back and see seasons you wish you had understood sooner, choices you wish you had made differently, moments you wish you had responded to more quickly. And somewhere inside, a voice whispers, "It's too late now." But hear me clearly, and let this truth cut through that fear with light. You are not too late. You have not missed what is meant for you. Time has not outrun my purpose for your life. I do not operate on the timelines of regret or comparison. I operate on alignment. And alignment is not about speed. It is about readiness. You arrived when you were able to arrive. You listened when you were able to listen. You are here now because now is when your heart is prepared to receive what earlier versions of you could not carry. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was lost. Nothing fell outside of my reach. You think about what could have been if you had known then what you know now. But wisdom often comes through experience, not instruction. And experience takes time. You could not have skipped those seasons without skipping the growth they produced. You could not have arrived earlier without arriving unprepared. And I refuse to give you something before you are ready to steward it with peace. You are not late. You are seasoned. You are not behind. You are anchored. You are not disqualified. You are discerning. The world rushes people forward before they are whole and then wonders why they break under pressure. I do not do that. I wait until healing has caught up with calling, until character has caught up with capacity, until your inner life can support what your outer life will require. And that takes time. Your time. The right time. So let go of the panic that tells you to hurry. Let go of the shame that tells you to apologize for arriving now. Let go of the comparison that measures your journey against someone else's pace. I am not disappointed in when you arrived. I am attentive to how present you are now. This moment, right here, is not a consolation prize. It is an opening. It is an invitation still fully alive, still fully available. You are not too late to begin again, to choose differently, to open your heart, to respond to my voice. I am not standing at the end of your story shaking my head. I'm standing at the threshold of what comes next, holding the door open. Stay with me. There is still time. And more than that, there is still purpose. My beloved child, I need you to hear this because you have misunderstood what I have been asking of you for a long time. You thought I was waiting for you to become stronger, braver, more disciplined, more faithful, more consistent. You assumed that before you could come close again, you needed to fix yourself, steady yourself, improve yourself. You believed that weakness disqualified you from responding fully, that exhaustion made you unworthy of engagement, that uncertainty meant you should wait until you were clearer, calmer, better. But I tell you now, what I have been asking for is not your strength. It is your attention. I have never required you to arrive with answers. I have never demanded that you bring solutions. I have never insisted that you overcome everything before you listen to me. I only ask that you notice me, that you pause, that you turn your face toward me instead of away. You have been trying to offer me effort when I wanted presence. You have been trying to offer me performance when I wanted honesty. You have been trying to offer me endurance when I wanted connection. And because you believed strength was required, you delayed coming close, waiting for a version of yourself that felt more acceptable. But I was ready to meet you exactly where you are. You have carried the weight of thinking that attention must be earned, that closeness requires capability, that listening requires readiness. But attention is not an achievement, it is a choice. And you are capable of that choice right now. even in confusion, even in fatigue, even in doubt. Attention does not mean understanding everything. It means staying present. It means resisting the urge to escape discomfort. It means allowing yourself to be still long enough to hear what has been whispering beneath the noise. You thought strength was what abreast me, but what moves me is your willingness to stop running. Your willingness to sit with me without pretending. Your willingness to say, I don't have it together, but I am here. That is not weakness. That is courage. You have spent so long using strength as armor that you forgot how heavy it has become. You have been holding yourself upright when you could have been held. You have been pushing forward when you could have been resting. And I am not asking you to push any further right now. I'm asking you to look at me, to listen, to let yourself be aggressed without preparing a response. So let this truth settle into the places where striving has lived too long. I do not need your strength to speak to you. I need your attention to reach you. You do not need to gather energy or clarity before responding. You only need to remain present. Stay with the words that stir something inside you instead of rushing past them. Stay with the feeling that tells you something here matters. Stay with the quiet recognition that you are being addressed personally, not generally. That recognition is not coincidence. It is connection. And connection does not begin with effort. It begins with attention. Give me that. Just that. Everything else can come later. Stay with me. I am not asking for more than you can give. I am asking for what you already have. My precious child, I need to say this plainly, without condition, without qualification, without delay. I have been reaching for you because I love you. Not because you were close to getting it right. Not because you were improving fast enough. Not because you proved anything. Simply because you are mine. Love is the reason behind every whisper, every nudge, every pause, every interruption, every return. Love is why I did not stop when you pulled away. Love is why I waited when you resisted. Love is why I remained when you doubted. Love is why I continued reaching even when you assumed I would give up. I am not reaching to recruit you into something you must earn. I am reaching to restore you to something you already belong to. You were never a project. You were never a problem. You were never a disappointment. You were always a child being called home to awareness, to presence, to truth. And love does not abandon its own. You tried to interpret my persistence as pressure. You wondered if my continued presence meant expectation, obligation, demand. But love does not chase to control. It reaches to connect. I am not pursuing you because I am unsatisfied. I am pursuing you because you matter. I am not calling you because you failed. I am calling you because you are valued. I have been reaching not to accuse you of distance, but to remind you that distance was never required. You did not need to earn my attention, but you feared you did. You did not need to deserve my voice, but you assumed you had to. You did not need to clean yourself up before listening, but you believed you should. And all of that came from forgetting the simplest truth. Love initiates. Love does not wait for perfection. Love moves first. And everything you have felt, the pull, the pause, the weight, the gentleness, the urgency, hath been love in motion. So let this truth land deeply and settle permanently. You are not being reached because you are lacking. You are being reached because you are loved. Loved in your confusion. Loved in your resistance. Loved in your weariness. Loved in your hesitation. Love in your growth. Love in your becoming. I am not standing at a distance, measuring how close you get. I am already close, inviting you to notice. That is all. To notice that love has been present even when you doubted it, To notice that love has been patient even when you were slow. To notice that love has been constant even when you were uncertain. Stay with me in this realization. Let it soften what fear hardened. Let it quiet what anxiety stirred. Let it remind you that you are not being summoned to prove anything. You are being invited to receive. I have been reaching for you because I love you. And I am still here. My beloved child, there is a reason I have asked you to stay again and again, not because I fear losing you, but because clarity only comes to those who remain present long enough to receive it. You have lived in seasons where everything felt blurred, where direction was uncertain, where motives were mixed, where signals felt conflicting. You prayed for clarity and wondered why it did not arrive quickly, cleanly, or completely. But clarity is not dropped like an answer sheet. It unfolds through relationship and deepens through nearness. It sharpens when you stop rushing past the moment where it begins. If you stay, I will speak clearly, not all at once, not in overwhelming detail, but with precision that settles your spirit instead of agitating it. I do not confuse my children. I do not delight in ambiguity, but I also do not shout over distraction. I wait for stillness. I wait for attention. I wait for the moment when you are no longer trying to control the outcome and are willing to listen without conditions. That is where clarity lives. You thought clarity meant knowing everything in advance. I know clarity means knowing the next faithful step. And if you stay, I will show it to you. You have asked for clarity while preparing escape routes, planning what you would do if the answer made you uncomfortable, calculating how long you could tolerate uncertainty before moving on. But clarity does not arrive where resistance remains. It settles where surrender begins. When you stay, something shifts internally. Your nervous urgency quiets. Your mind slows its frantic search for certainty. Your heart opens without demanding guarantees. And in this space, my voice becomes recognizable, not louder, but clearer, not forceful but firm. You begin to distinguish between fear-driven urgency and spirit-led direction. You begin to notice which thoughts bring peace and which bring pressure. You begin to sense alignment instead of confusion. That is not coincidence. That is clarity emerging. And it does not come from striving. It comes from staying. You do not need to stay forever in one place. You only need to stay long enough to hear me clearly before you move. And I promise you this, I will not leave you guessing. I will not withhold direction out of cruelty. I will not watch you wander unnecessarily. If you stay, I will speak. And when I speak, it will be enough. So let me say this with repetition, because repetition builds trust. Stay, and I will speak. Stay when impatience urges you to move prematurely. Stay when discomfort tempts you to disengage. Stay when fear suggests clarity will never come. Stay, not as a test, not as a burden, but as an act of trust. You do not need to stay perfectly. You only need to stay honestly. Bring your questions. Bring your uncertainty. Bring your reluctance. I am not offended by any of it. I am simply asking you not to run from the moment where clarity is forming. Because clarity does not chase you when you flee. It meets you when you remain. Stay with me. I will speak clearly. And when I do, you will recognize my voice not by force, but by the peace it leaves behind. My precious child, this is where I speak most tenderly and most firmly, because this is where choice lives. Do not leave me in silence, not because I cannot reach you again, but because silence hardens when it goes unanswered. You have learned how to drift quietly, how to step away without conflict, how to disengage without declaring it, how to let moments pass without responding. And while that skill protected you in seasons of overwhelm, It now threatens to cost you connection. Silence is not neutral when love is speaking. Silence shapes direction. Silence becomes a decision when it replaces response. I am not asking you for dramatic declarations or perfect words. I am asking you not to disappear inward again. Not to retreat into numbness. Not to close the door quietly because staying feels vulnerable. Do not leave me in silence. Not because I need your response to validate me, but because your response activates what this moment is meant to become. Love that is never answered eventually feels distant, not because it withdrew, but because it was ignored. You have walked away from moments before that later echoed in your memory. The ones where you felt something real stirring but chose familiarity over faith, comfort over curiosity, silence over engagement. You told yourself it was safer that way. You told yourself you would return later. But later rarely arrives with the same openness, the same tenderness, the same readiness. I am not saying this to pressure you. I am saying it to be honest. Moments like this are invitations. Invitations can be declined, but they are not meaningless. They mark crossroads. They reveal readiness. They shape trajectory. And this moment is one of them. I am not demanding an answer to everything. I'm asking for acknowledgement. Acknowledgement that you hear me. Acknowledgement that this matters. Acknowledgement that you do not want distance disguised as silence anymore. You do not need to have language for what comes next. You only need to resist the urge to withdraw. Stay present. Stay engaging. Stay responsive, even if response feels small. So hear me now, as a father who loves you deeply. Do not leave me in silence. Speak, even if your words are simple. Respond, even if your response is quiet. Turn toward me instead of away. That turning, however small, is enough. I am not asking you to resolve everything in this moment. I am asking you to remain connected. Silence has taken enough from you already. It has kept questions unanswered, feelings buried, connection delayed. Let this be different. Let this moment be met with presence instead of retreat. I am here. I am speaking. I am reaching. And I am not asking you to do more than you can, only to do what you can now. Do not leave me in silence. Today, answer with your attention. Answer with your willingness. Answer with your presence. That is enough. And it is the beginning. Do not leave me in silence. Respond with obedience that moves beyond feeling into action. When you give to support this message, your response becomes a river that carries my word to those who feel unseen and unheard. Give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over, I declare over you now. This is a holy exchange. You release provision, and I release impact, protection, and increase. Your support through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal keeps this fire burning where silence once ruled. This moment matters more than you know, and delay dulls what obedience sharpens. Act now. Give today using the PayPal link in the video description, and do not let this moment pass unanswered. My beloved child, do not let this moment fade into silence. If this message reached you, declare it. Type in the comments, Father, I am listening. I will not walk away in silence. Let your words become a doorway, a response of faith that says you choose presence over distance. Your declaration is not for the world. It is for your heart, and heaven hears it. Today, speak. Respond. This is how the door opens. And as you choose to speak, let the quiet inside you begin to surface. I already know what that silence has been holding. This is not about saying the perfect words. It's about releasing the ones you've been carrying alone. I am not waiting to correct you. I am waiting to receive you. Remain here with me, because I want to touch the place where your unspoken words have been weighing you down. My child, I perceive the heaviness in your spirit when you do not speak to me. I see you there, sitting in that quiet tension that hangs over your shoulders like a wet, heavy coat. You wake up, and the first thing you feel isn't hope. It is a knot in your stomach. You go through the motions, brushing your teeth, checking your phone, pouring the coffee. But inside, there is a silence so loud it actually hurts. You feel it in your chest, don't you? That tightness. That is the weight of the words you are not saying to me. You are carrying a load I never asked you to bear alone. I see the way you look at the ceiling at night, hoping for sleep that does not come, while your mind races with worries about bills, your children, with that conflict at work. You carry these things in silence, thinking you are being strong, but my child, you are only becoming exhausted. I urge you to acknowledge the distance that has grown between us. It is not a distance measured in miles, but in moments. It is the distance of a closed heart. You have built a wall, brick by brick, not with mortar, but with unspoken words. You have piled up your doubts, your shame, and your busyness until they formed a barrier. I did not construct this wall. I desire to tear it down. I want to smash through the barriers of your busy schedule and your hidden fears. You might think I am angry with you for staying away, but I am not angry. I am patient. I am not standing on the other side of that wall with a list of your failures. I am standing there with open arms, waiting for you to simply make a door and walk through. You feel alone, but it is only because you have stopped listening to my voice. You drive your car, surrounded by noise, the radio, the traffic, the notifications on your screen, yet you feel isolated. You are surrounded by people, yet you feel misunderstood. That loneliness is a signal. It is your soul's check engine light flashing red. It is telling you that you have disconnected from the source. I created you for connection, not for isolation. When you cut off communication with me, you cut off the very lifeline that fuels your peace. You try to fill that silence with other things. You scroll through social media for hours, looking for a connection, but you only find comparison. You work harder, hoping success will silence the inner ache, but the achievement feels empty. Stop for a moment. Put down the distractions. Close your eyes. Breathe. You feel that tension in your jaw. You feel that restless tapping of your foot. That is the weight of silence. Let it go. Release it into my hands. Your silence is not hidden from me. It echoes louder than your words. I hear the prayers you are too afraid to speak. I hear the cry of your heart when you feel like you are drowning in a sea of responsibilities. You think that because you haven't whispered my name, I don't know what you are going through. But I know. I know about the medical test results you are scared of. I know about the marriage trouble you haven't told anyone about. I know the feeling of being an imposter at your job. I hear it all. I am waiting for the moment you decide to break this quiet isolation. I am the initiator, but I will not force you to speak. I respect you too much to break down the door of your heart without an invitation. I am standing here, right now, in this very room with you. I am leaning in, close enough to hear a whisper. You do not need a speech. You do not need to fix your life before you talk to me. You just need to break the seal. Open your mouth. Say my name. Say, God, I am here. It has been a long time. That is enough. That is all it takes to shatter the heavy glass of silence that has separated us. I am ready. I am listening. I love you. Do not stay silent one moment longer. Talk to me. I want you to understand something fundamental about who I am and who we are together. I moved first. Before you ever thought of me, before you whispered your first prayer, and even before you took your first breath, I was already thinking of you. You often feel like you have to chase me, like you have to perform a set of rituals to get my attention, but that is the furthest thing from the truth. You do not have to shout to get my attention. You already have it. I am not a distant star you have to wish upon. I am the sun that rose before you woke up. I do not wait for you to be perfect before I reach out. If I waited for perfection, we would never speak. I see your mess, your unfinished projects, your temper that flares up in traffic, and the jealousy you try to hide. I see it all, and yet I am reaching for you right now. My love is proactive. I do not sit back on a throne of ice waiting for you to climb the mountain. I came down the mountain to find you. I am the shepherd seeking the lost sheep. Think about that image. A shepherd does not sit by the fire while the sheep is lost in the cold. No, the shepherd leaves the comfort of the camp. He walks through the briars. He climbs the rocky ledges. He risks the darkness. That is what I am doing for you. I am calling your name, just as I called to Adam in the garden. When Adam hid, covered in shame and leaves, I did not turn my back. I walked into the cool of the day and asked, "Where are you?" I am asking you that same question today. Not because I don't know where you are. I know exactly where you are sitting. I know the room you are in, and I know the state of your heart. I asked, "Where are you?" because I want you to realize where you are, so you can see that I have come to meet you there. You are responding to a love that hath been pursuing you since eternity past. You feel that tug in your chest, that desire to be better, to be whole, to be loved. That isn't just your emotion, that is the echo of my pursuit. I have been chasing you down with goodness and mercy all the days of your life. When you were running in the opposite direction, chasing money, or approval, or distractions, I was right there, keeping pace, waiting for you to turn around. Understand that my reaching is constant, even when you are dormant. Even when you are sleeping spiritually, when you haven't opened your Bible in weeks, when your prayers have been dry and empty, I am still reaching. I am the father of the prodigal son, scanning the horizon every single day, hoping to see your silhouette returning home. I invite you to stop running. Stop trying to earn what I have already given freely. You feel like you need to clean yourself up, fix your bad habits, and put on a happy face before you can come to me. But that is backward. You come to me, and then I do the cleaning. I am the one who washes the dust from your feet. I am the one who heals the wounds you have inflicted on yourself. My love is not a reaction to your goodness. Your goodness is a reaction to my love. I love you at your darkest, and I love you at your weakest. So, I command you, accept being found. You don't have to be the strong one today. You don't have to be the spiritual giant. You just have to be the one who is found. Let me wrap my arms around you. Let me lift the burden of earning it off your shoulders. You are chosen not because of what you do, but because of who I am. I am love. I am the initiator. I am the one reaching out my hand right now. Take it. The world shouts for your attention, drowning out my gentle spirit. From the moment you open your eyes, the noise begins. It starts with the alarm on your phone, then the notifications flood in. News of wars, gossip about celebrities, emails demanding your time, texts asking for favors. It is a constant, relentless barrage of noise. It is like standing in the middle of a busy highway during rush hour, trying to hear a melody played on a flute. The world screams, look at me, buy me, fear me, fix me. And in that chaos, you lose the frequency of my voice. You have let the chaos of daily life crowd out our sacred time. You say you are too busy, but I see how you spend your time. I see the hours lost to scrolling, the time spent worrying about things you cannot change, the energy drained by arguments that do not matter. I am not in the earthquake or the fire, but in the still, small voice. Do you remember Elijah? He looked for me in the big, dramatic events, the wind that tore mountains apart, the earthquake that shook the ground, the fire that consumed. But I was not in the noise. I was in the whisper. I am in the quiet. Why do I whisper? Because I want you to come close. If I shouted, you could hear me from a distance. You can keep living your loud, distracted life and just take orders from afar. But a whisper requires intimacy. It requires you to lean in. It requires you to stop moving, stop talking, and hold your breath to catch the sound. I want to be close to you. I want your ear next to my heart. Distractions are the enemy of intimacy. You must choose to turn them off. This is a command for your own soul. Turn it off. Put the phone down. Turn off the television. Step away from the computer. You are addicted to the noise because silence feels dangerous to you. In the silence, you have to face your thoughts. In the silence, you have to face your pain. But I am in the silence, waiting to help you deal with those very things. The noise is a drug you use to numb yourself. But I am the cure. My voice brings peace, while the world's noise brings anxiety. Look at the fruit of your distractions. Does the news make you feel peaceful? Does social media make you feel content? No. They leave you anxious, fearful, and inadequate. They churn your stomach and race your heart. But my whisper brings a peace that passes all understanding. My whisper says, it is well. My whisper says, you are safe. My whisper says, I have this under control. I ask you to quiet your soul so you can truly hear me again. Imagine a lake early in the morning, perfectly flat, like a mirror. That is what I want your soul to be. When the wind of worry blows, the water gets choppy, and you cannot see the reflection of the sky. You must still the waters. How do you do this? You must find for it. You must carve out a sanctuary in your day. It might be 5 minutes in your car before you walk into the office. It might be in the shower before the kids wake up. It might be a walk in the evening when the sun goes down. Find the quiet. I am there. I am not shouting over the clatter of your life. I am waiting for you to turn the volume down so we can speak. I have secrets to tell you. I have wisdom to give you. I have love to pour into you. But you cannot receive it if your hands are full of the world's noise. Empty your hands. Clear your ears. Listen. I am speaking peace to your storms right now. Can you hear me? Like your first parents, you hide because you feel naked and ashamed. I see you ducking into the shadows when you feel you have failed. You snap at your spouse and immediately, you pull away from me. You fall back into that old habit you promised to quit, and you think, I can't talk to God now. I messed up. You feel exposed. You feel like Adam and Eve in the garden, frantically sewing fig leaves together to cover your vulnerability. You use work as a hiding spot. You use humor and sarcasm to deflect serious questions. You use busyness to keep from sitting still in my presence, because you are afraid of what my light might reveal. But I ask you, who told you that you were naked? Who told you that you are unlovable because you are imperfect? That is not my voice. That is the voice of the accuser. You fear that if you come to me, I will only see your failures. You project the image of an angry father or a critical boss onto me. You think I am sitting here with a scorecard, marking down every time you stumble. You think I am disappointed in you. But my child, disappointment implies surprise. I am not surprised by your struggle. I knew you would struggle before I called you. I chose you knowing your weaknesses. I do not see you through the lens of your sin. I see you through the lens of my Son. When you hide, you are hiding from the very person who holds the medicine for your sickness. You are like a patient hiding from the doctor because you are ashamed of being sick. But I am the great physician. I cannot heal what you will not reveal. Hiding does not protect you. It only keeps you from my healing light. Darkness is not a shield, it is a prison. When you keep your struggles in the dark, they grow. Shame grows in the dark like mold. It needs secrecy to survive. But when you bring it into the light, it loses its power. There is no shadow where you can conceal yourself from my sight. As the psalmist said, "Where can I go from your spirit? If you make your bed in the depths, I am there. If you fly to the far side of the sea, I am there. You cannot hide from me, but you can hide from my comfort. You can lock yourself in a room of guilt where my hug cannot reach you, not because I am not there, but because you have turned your back. I know your secrets, yet I love you without condition. I know about the thought you had yesterday. I know about the resentment you are holding against your brother. I know about the secret debt. And here is the scandalous truth. I love you anyway. My love is not based on your performance. It is based on my character. You cannot make me love you more by being good, and you cannot make me love you less by being bad. You can only choose to receive that love or reject it. Come out from the shadows. I am not here to condemn, but to save. Stop cowering in the corner. Step into the light. Yes, the light reveals the dirt, but the light also brings the warmth. I am not holding a gavel, I am holding a towel to wash you. I am not pointing a finger, I am opening my arms. The guilt you feel, give it to me. The shame, let me take it. You don't have to carry it. You don't have to hide anymore. Take a deep breath and step out. It is safe here. I am safe. You are fully known, and you are fully loved. That is the freedom I died to give you. Walk in it. The veil was torn so that you could enter my presence boldly. Do you understand the magnitude of this? For centuries, there was a thick curtain separating the Holy of Holies from the people. It represented the separation caused by sin. No one could enter but the high priest, and only once a year, with fear and trembling. But on the day I gave my life for you, the veil was torn from top to bottom, not from bottom to top. It was not man's doing. It was mine. I tore the barrier down. I declared that the separation is over. There is no keep out sign on my door anymore. There is no VIP list that excludes you. You have been given the highest clearance in the universe, not because of your merit, but because of my sacrifice. There is no lock on the door to my throne room. It is always open. You often act as if you need to knock timidly, or as if the door is jammed shut by your mistakes. You stand in the hallway of life, pacing back and forth, wondering if you are allowed to come in. I tell you today, the door is wide open. I removed the hinges myself. I want you to run in. I want you to come with the confidence of a child running into their parents' bedroom on a Saturday morning. A child doesn't wonder, did I earn the right to wake my father up? No, they know they belong. You belong here. In my presence is fullness of joy, not fullness of judgment. You do not need an appointment to speak with the King of Kings. The rulers of your world have secretaries, schedules, and security guards. You have to wait in line. You have to fill out forms. But I am not like them. I am accessible to you at your lowest moment and your highest peak. You can talk to me while you are washing the dishes. You can talk to me while you are crying on the bathroom floor. You can talk to me in the middle of a business meeting when you feel overwhelmed. I am never in a meeting. I am never out of the office. My line is never busy. I am infinitely available to you. Access to me was purchased at a high price. Do not neglect it. Do not treat this open door as a common thing. It costs the blood of the Lamb. It costs suffering and death to rip that veil open. When you ignore my presence, when you stay silent day after day, you are leaving a priceless gift unopened on the table. Imagine if someone bought you a house, fully paid for, and handed you the keys, but you chose to sleep on the street in the rain. That is what you do when you carry your burdens alone, instead of entering the sanctuary of my peace. Use the access. Walk through the door. I command you, walk through the door I have opened. I am seated and waiting. Do not stand on the threshold. Do not let the enemy whisper lies that you are too dirty to come in. Wipe your feet on my grace and come inside. I am seated on the throne of grace, not a throne of condemnation. And do you know what I am doing? I am waiting for you. I have prepared a table for you. There is mercy there. There is strength there. There is clarity for your confusion there. But you must take the step. Cross the line from self-reliance into God-reliance. Enter the holy place. It is your home. You are a citizen of heaven. Act like it. Come in. My child, do not close the door I have just opened. To walk away now is to choose the cold hallway over the warmth of my embrace, and that choice grieves me deeply. I am just getting started with you. Do not leave me standing here alone again. Today, you feel I am distant, but it is you who has drifted, not me. You look up at the sky and feel a coldness, a vast emptiness, and you think, God has left me. You remember days when you felt my fire, when tears came easily in worship, when you heard my voice clearly. And now, it feels like radio silence. You wonder if I packed my bags and moved on to someone more faithful, someone more spiritual. But hear this truth. I am the unmoving mover. I am the constant. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. My position is fixed. I am exactly where I was when you first met me. I am exactly where I was when you felt closest to me. If there is distance, it is because your boat has drifted from the harbor, not because the harbor has moved out to sea. I remain the solid rock even when your emotions are shifting sand. Your emotions are liars. They tell you that because you feel sad, I am absent. They tell you that because you feel anxious, I am not in control. But feelings are like the weather. They change with the wind. One moment it is sunny, the next it is storming. If you build your faith on how you feel, your house will collapse. Build your faith on the rock of my word. I said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Did I stutter? Did I put a time limit on that promise? No. Even when you are faithless, I remain faithful, for I cannot deny myself. I am the anchor that holds firm. When you turn back around, you will find me exactly where you left me. Think of a time you were walking with a friend, and you got distracted by something in a store window. You wandered off. When you looked up, you panicked because you were alone. But then you looked back, and your friend was standing right there, waiting for you to return. That is me. I haven't run ahead. I haven't hidden. I am standing at the last place you obeyed me. I am standing at the altar where you made that vow. I am standing in the scripture you read last. Turn around. Repentance simply means to turn around. It isn't a punishment. It is a course correction. My faithfulness is not dependent on your consistency. If I only stayed with you when you were perfect, I would have left you a long time ago. But my covenant with you is written in blood that cannot be erased. You may have had a bad week, a bad month, or even a bad year. You may have drifted into habits that break my heart. But the tether of my love is still attached to you. You can pull against it, you can ignore it, but you cannot break it. I am the anchor that holds firm, waiting for you to grab the rope. I invite you to pull on the rope. Feel the tension. That is me holding on to you. You are not adrift in the middle of a boundless ocean. You are tethered to the throne of grace. Stop letting the currents of the world push you further away. Grab the rope of prayer. Grab the rope of my word. Pull yourself back. I am right here. I haven't moved an inch. A warmth you miss. It's right here. The security you crave. It's right here. Come back to the rock. Plant your feet on solid ground again. I am holding you steady. You are safe. You were never designed to carry the weight of the world on your own. I look at you, and I see the strain in your neck and the slump in your posture. You walk through your days pretending that everything is fine, smiling when you need to, but inside, you are buckling under the pressure. You are trying to be the perfect parent, the perfect employee, the perfect spouse, and the perfect friend. You think that if you just work harder, organize better, or sleep less, you can manage it all. But I tell you, you are trying to carry a freight train on your back while walking up a mountain. It is impossible. You are crushing yourself because you were built to be dependent, not independent. You treat dependency as a weakness, but in my kingdom, dependency is your greatest strength because it connects you to my infinite power. Your silence is crushing you because you are not releasing your burdens to me. Silence acts like a dam. Every worry, every fear, every deadline, every conflict flows into the reservoir of your heart. When you do not speak to me, when you do not open the floodgates in prayer, the pressure builds. The water rises, and eventually, the dam breaks. You snap at your children. You had a panic attack in the car. You cry yourself to sleep. That is the result of carrying the load alone. I see your weary shoulders and your tired mind. I see you calculating finances at 3:00 a.m., wondering how you will pay for the tuition or the mortgage. I see you worrying about your aging parents, wondering how you will care for them. I see the secret battle you are fighting with an addiction you hate but can't seem to stop. I created you to be dependent on my strength, not your own. Imagine a small child trying to move a heavy piece of furniture. They push and pull, sweating and crying, getting nowhere. Then, their father walks in. He doesn't scold them for being weak. He simply lifts the object with one hand. I am that father. Why are you sweating and crying over things that are heavy to you but feather-light to me? I hold the universe together with a word. Do you think your job situation is too heavy for me? Do you think your broken marriage is too heavy for me? Silence is a heavy yoke. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. This is the great contrast I offer you. On one side, you have the yoke of the world, performance, perfectionism, anxiety, fear. It rubs your skin raw. It weighs you down until you can barely look up. On the other side, you have my yoke. It fits perfectly. It is lined with grace. It distributes the weight so that I carry the bulk of it. When you are silent, you are choosing the heavy yoke. You are choosing to be the master of your own disaster. But when you speak, when you surrender, you trade yokes. You give me the heavy one, and I give you the light one. Surrender the load you are dragging. I am strong enough to bear it. I command you right now, drop it. Visualize yourself taking that backpack of worry off your shoulders. Take out the rock-labeled future. Take out the rock-labeled regret. Take out the rock-labeled control. Lay them at my feet. You are scared that if you let go, everything will fall apart. But I am telling you, if you don't let go, you will fall apart. I am the foundation. I can hold your life together better than your worry ever could. Stop managing the universe. Resign from your position as the general manager of the universe. That is my job. Your job is to be the child. Your job is to trust. Your job is to talk to me and let me carry what is too heavy for you. Breathe out the stress. Breathe in my strength. I've got this. Look back at the times I carried you through the storms before. You are suffering from spiritual amnesia. You are looking at the giant in front of you, this bill, this diagnosis, this conflict, and you are trembling as if you have never seen a victory before. But pause. Rewind the tape of your life. Do you remember 5 years ago? Do you remember that situation you thought will ruin you? You couldn't see a way out. You cried on the floor. You thought it was the end. And yet, here you are. You are still standing. You are still breathing. Who do you think got you through that? It wasn't your cleverness. It wasn't your luck. It was me. Do not suffer from spiritual amnesia. Remember my track record. I have a perfect track record with you. I have never failed you. Not once. Never. Never. Never give up on trusting me because I have never given up on you. Go back further. Remember when you were a child and I protected you. Remember when you were lonely and I brought that friend into your life. Remember when you didn't have the money for rent and it showed up in an unexpected check. Those were not coincidences. Those were my fingerprints. I urge you to mentally walk through the museum of my faithfulness. Look at the exhibits of grace in your own history. I delivered you then, and I am willing to deliver you now. I am the same God. I haven't lost my power. I haven't lost my interest in you. Why do you trust me with your eternity but not with your Tuesday afternoon? Why do you trust me to save your soul from hell, but you don't trust me to save your reputation at work? It is illogical. If I can do the greater, I can surely do the lesser. If I can defeat death, I can certainly handle your dead. Use your memory as a weapon against your fear. When fear says this is impossible, memory says, but remember when God did the impossible last time. Your history with me is proof that I do not abandon my own. You are not a stranger to my grace. You have tasted it. You have seen it. Do not let the fog of the present obscure the mountains of the past. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I am the God of generations. But I am also the God of your yesterday. I was there when you were brokenhearted. I was there when you were celebrating. I was there in the hospital room. I was there in the courtroom. I was there in the delivery room. I was there in the quiet of your bedroom when you whispered that prayer no one else heard. Let the memory of my past grace fuel your present courage to speak. You stopped talking to me because you stopped remembering who I am. You started seeing me as a silent observer rather than an active participant. But when you remember, your voice comes back. When you remember how I answered you before, you find the courage to ask again. So I invite you, make a list. Right now, in your mind. List 3 times I came through for you. You. 3. Feel the gratitude rising. That is the fuel for your prayer. That is the spark that breaks the silence. I have never failed you, and I will not start now. Do you think I brought you this far just to leave you? Do you think I saved you, healed you, and provided for you just to watch you drown now? Oh, I am not a cruel tease. I am the author and the finisher of your faith. I started this good work in you, and I will complete it. Trust my character. Trust my history. Trust my love. Open your mouth and thank me for what I did yesterday, and then ask me for what you need today. I am listening, and I am ready to add another victory to our history together. The enemy tells you that you are too broken to speak to God. I hear the whispers that assault your mind. The enemy is a liar and the father of lies. He tells you that you are damaged goods. He tells you that you have messed up one too many times. He replays your sins in high definition, the angry words you spoke, the lustful thoughts you entertained, the dishonesty, the pride. He says, look at you. You call yourself a Christian. God is disgusted with you. Don't bother praying. He won't listen to a hypocrite like you. And you believe him. You let shame clamp a hand over your mouth. You retreat into the shadows, thinking you are doing me a favor by staying away. You believe you must clean yourself up before you come to me. You think prayer is a privilege for the perfect. You think you need to go a week without sinning, read your Bible for an hour, and feel holy before you can approach my throne. But that is a lie from the pit of hell. It is like saying you need to get healthy before you go to the hospital, or like saying you need to get clean before you take a shower. It is backwards. You don't clean yourself up to come to me. You come to me to get cleaned out. I am the living water. I am the cleansing fire. I came for the sick, not the healthy. Your brokenness is your qualification. Did you hear me? Your brokenness is not your disqualification. It is your invitation. I said, blessed are the poor in spirit. I said, come to me, all who are weary. I didn't say, come to me, all who have it all together. If you were perfect, you wouldn't need a savior. The fact that you are struggling, that you are failing, that you are weak, this is exactly why I died for you. Your weakness is the magnet for my strength. Your sin is the target for my grace. Do not let your condition keep you from your cure. Do not let shame silence the prayer that could heal you. Shame is a silencer. It tells you to hide. But I command you, reject the shame. Shame says I am a mistake. Ray says I made a mistake, but I am loved. There is a difference. I know what you did. I know what you are struggling with right now. You don't have to hide it. I saw it. And I still love you. I love you to the moon and back, and far beyond that, to the depths of hell and back, because that is where I went to get the keys to free you. Your sin is great, yes, but my grace is greater. You can't out-sin my ability to forgive. You are bringing a thimble of dirt to an ocean of detergent. My blood is enough. My blood covers every stain. You are worthy because I say you are. Your worth is not found in your behavior. It is found in my blood. You are covered. When I look at you, I don't see your failure. I see my son's righteousness. It is a robe that covers you completely. Stop trying to earn what hath been gifted. You are my child. Does a child have to earn the right to cry out to their father when they are hurt? Their identity grants them access. You are a prince or a princess of the kingdom. Lift your head. Wash your face. Stop groveling. Stand up and speak to your father. Reject the lie that you are unwanted. You are my prized possession. You are the apple of my eye. I chose you. I wanted you. I wanted to talk to you. Not the fake you. Not the polished you. The real you. The broken you. The messy you. Bring that version of yourself to me right now. I'm not holding mine oath, I'm holding out my hand. Come here. Let me love you back to life. Let me whisper truth that drowns out the enemy's lies. You are mine. You are forgiven. You are welcome here. If you will not hear my spirit, look at the sunrise I painted for you. Sometimes you say, God, why are you so silent? Why don't you show yourself? But my child, I'm showing myself every single second. Open your eyes. Look out the window. Who do you think paints the sky with oranges, pinks, and purples every morning? That isn't just atmospheric physics. That is a love letter. That is me saying, good morning. I'm here. I made this new day for you. I am shouting to you through the color of the leaves. I am whispering to you through the breeze that cools your face. I am displaying my power in the thunderstorm that shakes your house. I am using visuals because I know you are visual creatures. I am giving you a 24/7 presentation of my glory, and yet you walk past it with your eyes glued to a tiny screen. The birds and the lilies testify of my care. Are you not worth more? Consider the birds outside your window right now. They don't have savings accounts. They don't have 401ks. They don't sow or reap. Yet do they look worried? No. They sing. They fly. I feed them. And the lilies of the field, they don't toil or spin. Yet even Solomon in all his glory was not dressed like one of these. If I take such care to paint a flower that lasts for a day and then dies, how much more will I take care of you? You who I made in my image. You who I died for. When you see a bird, let it be a preacher to your heart. Let it say, trust him. He cares. Every breath you take is a gift I am physically placing in your lungs. Gauze. Inhale. Exhale. Do you realize what just happened? That wasn't automatic. That was a gift. That was me, sustaining your biological life. I am holding your atoms together. I am keeping your heart beating. You are inhaling my grace and exhaling your dependence. You say I am far away, yet I am as close as the air in your lungs. I am the very atmosphere you live in. In me, you live and move and have your being. You cannot escape my presence, because I am the sustaining force of your reality. The stars shout my glory and my power to hold your life together. You go outside tonight. Look up. See the vastness of the cosmos. The billions of stars. The galaxies spinning in perfect order. I named them all. I know the number of hairs on your head and the number of stars in the sky. If I can hold the galaxies in place so they don't crash into each other, don't you think I can hold your life together? Don't you think I can handle your scheduling conflict? Don't you think I can handle your financial crisis? The stars are there to give you perspective. I stream, your God is big. Your God is able. Stop looking at your problem through a microscope and start looking at your God through a telescope. Creation is my visual language when you refuse to hear my verbal one. I speak in many languages. I speak in scripture. I speak in the spirit. But I also speak in sunsets. I speak in mountain ranges. I speak in the laughter of a baby. I speak in the taste of a good meal. These are all metaphors of my goodness. Taste and see that the Lord is good. When you feel I am silent, go for a walk. Get into nature. Unplug from the artificial world and reconnect with the created world. You will find my fingerprints everywhere. Let the beauty around you remind you of the artist who loves you. You admire the painting, but you ignore the painter. You love a gift, but you ignore the giver. Let creation lead you back to the Creator. Let the warmth of the sun on your skin remind you of the warmth of my love. Let the stability of the ground beneath your feet remind you that I am your rock. I am speaking. The whole earth is filled with my glory. Are you listening? Are you looking? Or are you too busy staring at your problems? Lift your eyes. I am right here, in the wind, in the sun, in the rain. I am surrounding you with my love. I have painted the skies to get your attention. Do not shut your eyes now. To stop listening here is to say that the distractions of the world are more valuable than the voice of your Creator. That rejection cuts deep. I have more to reveal to you. Do not break this connection. Just as I use the stars to shout my glory across the heavens, I am using this digital vessel to project my voice into the dark corners of the earth where silence reigns. You have heard my whisper in this message. Now, I invite you to become the amplifier that carries it to a soul who is still deafened by the world's noise. When you sow into this ministry today, whether through a super thanks, by joining as a member, or through the PayPal link below, you are not merely giving money. You are buying airtime for the gospel to reach a broken heart that I am desperate to heal. I promise that he who waters will himself be watered. Your seed will trigger a harvest of provision that you cannot contain, for I am a debtor to no man. Do not hold back the resource I have placed in your hand for this very moment, for it is the key to someone else's freedom. Click the link or the button now. Sow your seed in faith and partner with me to paint the sky with the colors of my redemption. It grieves me when my child treats me like a stranger. I want to speak to you now, not just as God, but as a father. Imagine a father who sits at the dinner table every night. He has prepared the meal. He has provided the home. He loves his children more than life itself. But every night, his children walk in, grab a plate, and walk out without saying a word. They go to their rooms. They lock the door. They live in the same house, but they act like strangers. Can you feel the ache in that father's heart? That is how I feel when you ignore me. I see you. I provide for you. I protect you. But you treat me like a vending machine. You put in a quick prayer when you want something, get your product, and walk away. That breaks my heart. I desire relationship, not just religious observation or ritual. I didn't save you so you could follow a set of rules. I saved you so I could know you. I want to know your thoughts. I want to hear about your day. I want you to tell me when you are angry. I want you to tell me when you are happy. Religion is a checklist. Relationship is a conversation. Religion is cold. Relationship is warm. You have been giving me your duty, but I want your delight. You have been giving me your Sunday morning, but I want your Monday morning, your Tuesday afternoon, and your Friday night. I want to be involved in the details. My heart aches for the communion we used to share. You remember when we were close. You remember when you first believed. You couldn't stop talking to me. You saw me in everything. You trusted me with everything. What happened? Who stole your affection? Was it work? Was it a relationship? Was it just the slow drift of apathy? I miss you. I miss the sound of your voice. I miss the way you used to trust me. I haven't changed. I am still here, waiting at the table, hoping tonight is the night you stay and talk. Do not break my heart by ignoring the love I offer so freely. Ignorance is a form of rejection. When you ignore someone, you are saying, "You don't matter to me. You are not worth my time." Is that what you mean to say to me? To the one who breathed life into you? To the one who died for you? I know you don't do it maliciously. I know you are just busy, just tired, just distracted. But the result is the same. I am left waiting. I am standing at the door and knocking, but you are too busy watching TV to hear the knock. I am a jealous God. I want your affection and your attention. Jealousy gets a bad reputation among humans because it is usually selfish. But my jealousy is holy. I am jealous for you, not just of you. I am jealous because I know that nothing else can satisfy you like I can. I know that the world will chew you up and spit you out, but I will cherish you. I know that money will fly away, but I will stay. I want your attention because I want to bless you. I want your affection because you were made to be loved by me. When you give your heart to lesser things, you are hurting yourself, and I hate to see you hurt. Understand that your silence is personal to me. I miss you. This isn't about theology. This isn't about doctrine. This is about a father missing his child. My mom always said, well, think about your own parents, or think about your own children. Think about the bond of love that wants to be expressed. That is a pale reflection of my love for you. So, I am asking you, heart to heart, come back. Come back to the dinner table. Sit with me. You don't have to have a prepared speech. Just sit. Just look at me. Just let me love you. I miss you. Let's fix this. Right now. Silence is a slow drift that leads to dangerous waters. Rarely does a child of mine wake up one morning and decide, I will never speak to God again. No, it does not happen with a shout. It happens with a whisper of neglect. It happens when you are too tired on Tuesday night to pray, so you skip it. Then, on Wednesday morning, you hit the snooze button one too many times and rush out the door without acknowledging me. By Friday, you haven't spoken to me in days. You haven't rejected me. You have simply drifted. But I must warn you, drifting is dangerous because it is silent. You don't feel the current pulling you away from the shore until you look up and realize the land is just a speck on the horizon. You are out in the deep waters of the world without an anchor, and that is when the storm hits. Without communication, your faith will wither like a plant without water. Imagine a beautiful houseplant sitting in your window. If you stop watering it, it doesn't die immediately. It looks fine for a day, maybe two. But slowly, the leaves begin to droop. The vibrant green turns to a dull yellow. The soil turns to dust. This is what is happening to your spirit right now. You are trying to survive on the water you drank last month. You are trying to fight today's battles with yesterday's strength. It is not enough. You wonder why you are so irritable, why your patience is so thin, why you feel so empty. It is because your soul is dehydrated. You have cut off the supply line of living water. I urge you, water your soul. Speak to me. Even a drop of prayer can bring life back to a withering heart. You become vulnerable to the enemy's attacks when you cut off the comms line. In any battle, the first thing an enemy tries to do is cut the communication lines. If a soldier cannot talk to the commander, he is isolated. It cannot call for battle. It cannot receive orders. He's an easy target. The enemy of your soul knows this. He doesn't have to destroy you. He just has to distract you until you stop talking to me. When you are silent, you are fighting alone. You are trying to handle the spiritual warfare in your home, the tension in your marriage, and the pressure in your mind with your own limited resources. You are walking through a minefield without a map. But when you pray, you are radioing the commander. You are calling in air support. You are accessing the wisdom of heaven, Do not leave yourself exposed. Drifting happens without effort. Returning requires intention. Gravity pulls you down. Currents pull you away. Entropy pulls order into chaos. It takes zero effort to drift away from me. You just have to do nothing but to come back. It takes muscle. It takes a decision. You have to grab the oars of your life and row against the current of your flesh. You have to say no to the television so you can say yes to prayer. You have to say no to the extra hour of sleep so you can say yes to my word. It is a fight, but it is a fight worth winning. Wake up before you have drifted too far from the shore of my grace. I am sounding the alarm today. Wake up. Do not let the lullaby of the world put you to sleep. Do not let the comfort of your routine numb you to your desperate need for me. You are closer to the edge than you think. But here is the good news. I am walking on the water towards you. I am reaching out my hand. You don't have to swim all the way back on your own. You just have to reach out. Anchor yourself in my word and prayer immediately. Throw the anchor down. Stop the drift. Open your Bible. Read one psalm. Whisper one prayer. Jesus, help me. That is an anchor. It stops the movement away from me and starts the movement back to me. Do it now. Stop trying to formulate the perfect prayer with a perfect explanation. You often stay silent because you think you need to have the right words. You treat prayer like a formal presentation to a CEO, where you need to have your slides in order and your data correct. You rehearse what you want to say, and if it doesn't sound spiritual enough, you don't say it at all. But I am not a CEO, I am your father. I don't want a presentation. I want a conversation. I don't want polytheology, I want raw reality. When a child scrapes their knee, they don't walk up to their parent and say, "Mother, I appear to have sustained an injury to my patella." No, they cry. They scream, "It hurts." That is the kind of prayer I want from you. The real kind. The honest kind. I want your raw, unfiltered, honest heart. I already know what is in there, so you might as well say it. I know you are frustrated with your spouse. I know you are disappointed that you didn't get that promotion. I know you are angry that life feels unfair. Hiding these feelings doesn't make them go away. It just builds a wall between us. You think that if you express anger or doubt, I will strike you down. But look at David in the Psalms. He screamed at me. He asked, "Why have you forsaken me?" He complained. He cried. And I called him a man after my own heart. Why? Because he was honest. He brought his mess to me instead of taking it elsewhere. Bring me your anger, your confusion, and your doubt. Yes, even your anger at me. I can handle it. I am big enough to handle your frustration. If you are mad because a prayer wasn't answered the way you wanted, tell me. If you are confused about why I am allowing a certain trial, ask me. I would rather have a heated conversation with you than a cold silence. Silence is the death of a relationship. Honesty is the breath of a relationship. When you tell me how you really feel, we have a starting point. We can work through the anger. We can walk through the doubt. But we can't do anything if you just shut down. I can handle your mess. I cannot handle your mask. The mask is the fake smile you put on for church. The mask is the "I'm blessed" and highly favored response you give when your world is falling apart. The mask is the religious language you use to cover up your pain. I hate the mask. I cannot heal a mask. I cannot comfort a mask. I can only heal the real you. Take it off. It is exhausting to wear it anyway. You are tired of pretending to be strong. You are tired of pretending to have it all together. Good. Come to me in your weakness. Come to me with your makeup running and your hair a mess. Come to me with your doubts and your fears. That is who I want to hold. Authenticity is the language I value most from my children. The Pharisees prayed long, beautiful prayers on the street corners, and I didn't listen to a word of it. But the tax collector beat his chest and couldn't even look up to heaven, whispering, "God, have mercy on me, a sinner." I heard him. Why? Because he was real. He wasn't performing. Stop performing for an audience of one who has seen you naked. Be real. Tell me, "God, I don't want to pray today." Tell me, "God, I am bored." Tell me, "God, I am scared." That is a prayer I can work with. Just show up. That is the only requirement I have today. I invite you to come just as you are. If you are dirty, come. If you are tired, come. If you are skeptical, come. Don't wait until you feel spiritual. Don't wait until you have cleaned up your act. The act of coming is the act of faith. Walk into my presence with your baggage, drop it on the floor, and fall into my arms. I love the real you, not the version of you that you think you should be. I'm waiting for you. Yesterday's failures do not disqualify you from today's conversation. You wake up with a guilt hangover. You remember the mistakes of yesterday, the temper you lost, the time you wasted, the promise you broke. You lie in bed and think, "I blew it. I can't talk to God today. I need to put some distance between my sin and His holiness." You think you need a cooling off period. But that is human logic, not divine grace. Humans hold grudges. I hold mercy. Humans remember your failures. I choose to forget them when you confess. You are letting yesterday's darkness steal today's light. Stop looking in the rearview mirror. Look through the windshield. I have given you a new day, and with it, a clean slate. I have a fresh supply of mercy waiting for you right now. Lamentations tells you that my mercies are new every morning. Think about what that means. It means I don't serve leftovers. I don't give you the stale, cold mercy from last week. Every time the sun comes up, I bake a fresh batch of bread for your soul. I open a new account of grace for you to spend. You act as if you have used up your quota, as if my patience is a bank account that you have overgrown. But my resources are infinite. You cannot exhaust my mercy any more than you can drink the ocean dry. Is asked. Is deep. And it is available right now. Do not let the guilt of yesterday silence you today. Guilt is a heavy muzzle. It wraps around your mouth and keeps you from speaking. It whispers, "You are a hypocrite." But I command you, rip off the muzzle. Speak through the guilt until the guilt dissolves in the presence of my love. Guilt says you owe a debt. My grace says the debt is paid. When you stay silent because of guilt, you are essentially saying that your sin is bigger than my sacrifice. That is an insult to the cross. Do not honor your sin by focusing on it. Honor my Son by accepting His forgiveness. My compassions, they fail not. They are renewed with the dawn. Look at the sunrise. It is faithful. It happens every single day, whether you are good or bad, whether you are awake or asleep. My compassion is like the sun. It rises on the just and the unjust. It is a fixed reality. You may have failed, but my compassion has not failed. You may have given up on yourself, but I have not given up on you. I am not looking at you with disgust. I am looking at you with compassion. I know you are dust. I know you are frail. I am not shocked that you fell. I am just eager to pick you up. Reset your relationship with me this very moment. You have a reset button available to you 24/7. It is called confession. It is not a torture chamber, it is a cleansing shower. All you have to do is say, Lord, I messed up. I'm sorry. And instantly, faster than the blink of an eye, you are restored. You don't have to do penance. You don't have to crawl over broken glass. You just have to agree with me that you missed the mark and accept my hand to pull you back on track. Reset the day. Don't let a bad yesterday ruin a beautiful today. Today is the day of salvation and reconnection. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Not yesterday was the day. Today. Right now. The past is a ghost. It cannot hurt you unless you let it haunt you. The future is a phantom. It doesn't exist yet. All you have is this moment. Use this moment to speak. Say, Father, thank you for new mercy. Thank you that I can start over. Feel the weight lift. That is the power of new mercy. Walk in it. Breathe it in. You are free to speak to me again. I redeemed you so that we could talk, walk, and live together. Do you know what redemption means? It is a marketplace term. It means to buy something back. You were sold into the slavery of sin. You were in chains, unable to speak, unable to move, owned by darkness. I came into the market. I saw you. I saw you're valued even when you were covered in the filth of the world. And I paid the price. I didn't pay with silver or gold. I paid with the precious blood of Christ. I bought you back. Why? Not to put you on a shelf as a trophy. I bought you back so I could bring you home. I bought you back so we could have a conversation. Your voice was expensive to me. I paid everything just to hear you call me Father. The cross was the ultimate statement breaking the silence of sin. Sin silences us. It separates us from the holy God. But the cross was the loudspeaker of my love. When Jesus hung there, he broke the silence. He tore the veil. He bridged the gap. Every drop of blood was a syllable in the greatest love letter ever written. The cross screams, you are wanted. You are forgiven. You are mine. How can you stand in front of such a loud demonstration of love and remain silent? The cross proves that I am not ignoring you. It proves that I move heaven and earth to get to you. Jesus cried out so that you would never have to be silent in despair. Remember his words. My God, why have you forsaken me? He experienced the silence of heaven so that you never would. He was rejected so you could be accepted. He was cut off so you could be connected. He took the silence of the grave so you could have the voice of life. Because he cried out in pain, you can cry out in hope. Because he was silenced by death, you are empowered by his life. Do not let his suffering be in vain. Use the voice he died to restore. Redemption means the communication line is restored permanently. The wire has been fixed. The signal is strong. There is no more static of sin blocking our call, because the blood acts as a perfect filter. When you speak, I hear you through the filter of Jesus. I don't hear your sin. I hear his sonship. You have a direct line to the Oval Office of the universe. You have a red phone that rings directly on my desk. Do not cut the line that cost me so much to repair. Use it. Wicked Abba. Speak. Live in the reality of the price I paid to hear your voice. If you bought a phone for $1,000, you wouldn't use it as a doorstop. You would use it to communicate. I paid a price higher than any number can count for your soul. Do not treat your relationship with me as a cheap thing. It is precious. It is blood-bought. Value it by using it. When you pray, you are honoring the purchase. You are saying, God, I receive what you paid for. You are a redeemed child. Speak with the authority of your inheritance. You are not a slave anymore. Slaves don't talk back to masters, they just obey. But sons and daughters, they talk. They ask. They negotiate. They laugh. They cry. You are a joint heir with Christ. You have the family name. You have the family privileges. Stop cowering like a slave in the corner. Stand up like a son. Stand up like a daughter. Speak with authority. Speak with confidence. The price is paid. The door is open. The silence is broken. Open your mouth and claim your place in the conversation. I paid for this conversation with my own blood. To silence me now is to walk away from the cross while I am still bleeding for you. Do not let my sacrifice be in vain. I am fighting for your heart right now. Do not surrender to the silence. Keep listening. The world is a storm, but I am the calm center. Look around you. The world is going crazy. The economy is shaking. Politics are dividing. Culture is shifting like sand in a hurricane. You feel the spray of the waves on your face every time you turn on the news. You feel the boat of your life rocking violently with every new crisis. You are seasick with worry. But I am not the storm. I am the harbor. I am the place where the water is still. I am the breakwater that stops the waves from crashing over you. You are trying to survive out in the open ocean, paddling frantically, when all you have to do is steer the ship into my presence. Inside my arms, the wind dies down. Inside my will, the waves lose their power. Run to me when you are overwhelmed. I am your refuge. I am not a fair weather God. I am a shelter for the stormy day. When the rain of life is pelting you, don't stand outside and get soaked. Run inside. I am a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. You run to other things for safety. You run to food for comfort. You run to sleep to escape. You run to people who can't save you. Stop running to temporary shelters that leak. Run to the rock that is higher than you. Hide in me. In my presence, there is fullness of joy and protection. Imagine a warm, lit house in the middle of a blizzard. Outside, the wind is howling and the snow is blinding. Inside, there is a fire crackling, warm food, and safety. That is what prayer is. It is stepping out of the blizzard and into the living room. Why would you stay out in the cold? Why would you choose to freeze in silence when the door to the warm house is unlocked? In my presence, the problems don't disappear, but fear of them disappears. You see the storm through the window, but it can't touch you. You do not have to brave the tempest alone. You have a hero complex. You think you have to be the captain who goes down with the ship. You think you have to stand on the bow and scream at the waves yourself. But you are not the captain. I am. And I am also the one who walks on water. I command the wind and it obeys. You are trying to bail water out of a sinking dinghy with a teaspoon, while I am offering to lift you onto an aircraft carrier. Let me handle the storm. You just handle the trusting. You just stay close to me. I am the fortress that surrounds you. Silence leaves you exposed. Silence is like taking off your armor in the middle of a battle. It is like leaving the castle and walking out into the open field where the enemy arrows can hit you. When you stop praying, you lower your shields. You become vulnerable to the lies, the fears, and the attacks of the Dark One. Prayer constructs the walls around your heart. The Word builds the roof over your head. Keep the walls up. Keep the conversation going. It is your protection. Let down your guard and rest in the safety of my embrace. I invite you to exhale. You have been holding your breath, tensed up, waiting for the next bad thing to happen. Let it go. You are safe here. No one can pluck you out of my hand. No one can separate you from my love. Close your eyes. Visualize my arms wrapping around you like a warm, heavy blanket. Feel the safety. That is real. The storm is out there, but peace is in here. Stay in here. Stay in the harbor. Let the world rage. You rest. You are safe with me. Do not overcomplicate the act of prayer with fancy words. You often freeze up when you try to pray because you think you need to speak in Old English or use theological terms you don't fully understand. You think prayer has to sound poetic, dignified, and rehearsed. But tell me, does a toddler rehearse before asking their daddy for a cup of juice? Does a son prepare a slide deck before telling his father he had a bad day at school? No. They just speak. They use their own words, their own voice, and their own messy grammar. I am not grading your prayer on its structure. I am weighing it by its sincerity. I am not impressed by the vocabulary of the Pharisees. I am moved by the vulnerability of the child. Stop trying to be a poet and just be a person. I am your Abba, your father. Talk to me simply. Abba is the most intimate word for father. It is like saying daddy or papa. It implies closeness, safety, and affection. When Jesus taught you to pray, he didn't say, address the great architect of the cosmos. He said, when you pray, say, Our Father. I want you to approach me with that level of familiarity. You don't need to put on a spiritual voice. You don't need to change your tone. Talk to me like you talk to your best friend over coffee. Talk to me like you talk to yourself in the car. I want the real you, the everyday you, the Abba I'm tired you. Tell me about your day, your fears, and your small desires. You think I am too big to care about the small things. You think God is running the universe. He doesn't care that I lost my keys or that my coworker is annoying me. But you are wrong. I care about the details of your life because they matter to you. If it matters to you, it matters to me. I count the hairs on your head. That is detail. I know when a sparrow falls. That is detail. Tell me about the traffic. Tell me about the bill that came in the mail. Tell me about the weird dream you had. Tell me about the hope you have for your garden. Nothing is too small for my attention. When you share the small things, you build the intimacy that handles the big things. I care about the details of your life because they matter to you. Relationship is built in the small moments of conversation. Think about the people you are closest to. You only talk to them about life and death situations. You talk about the weather, what you ate for lunch, and a funny joke you heard. That is the fabric of friendship. I want that with you. I want to be the background conversation of your entire day. I want you to loop me in on the commentary running through your head. When you see something beautiful, say, thanks, Dad. When you see something frustrating, say, help me, Dad. Keep the line open on the small stuff. Just speak, my child. I am leaning in to listen. Picture a father bending down to hear his small child whisper. That is my posture toward you. I am not leaning back with my arms crossed. I am leaning forward with my ears open. I am eager to hear your voice. Your voice is unique to me. Out of billions of voices, I know yours. I love yours. Don't deprive me of it. Don't think you are bothering me. You can't bother a father who loves you. You are the delight of my heart. So, strip away the religion. Strip away the pretense. Just open your mouth and say what is on your mind. I am ready to listen. When you don't know what to say, my Spirit speaks for you. There are moments when life hits you so hard that words fail. You kneel down to pray, and all that comes out is a sigh or a psalm. You feel like a failure because you can't articulate your pain. You think, I can't even pray right. But listen closely. You are not praying alone. I have placed my Spirit inside of you, and He is the ultimate intercessor. He knows the code of your heart even when you can't crack it. He takes your confusion, your pain, and your silence, and He translates it into the language of heaven. You have a divine translator living in your chest. He groans with words that cannot be uttered on your behalf. The scripture says the Spirit intercedes with groanings too deep for words. What does that mean? It means that when you are hurting too much to speak, the Spirit takes that heavy emotion and lifts it to the throne. He advocates for you with a passion and a depth that your human vocabulary could never match. A heavy feeling in your chest. The Spirit is using that. A tear running down your cheek. The Spirit is using that. Your tears are liquid prayers. Your sighs are spiritual sentences. Do not despise your weakness. It is the platform for the Spirit's power. You have a helper inside you who is reaching out to me. I did not leave you as an orphan. I gave you the helper. He is not a passive observer. He is an active partner in your prayer life. He grabs hold of the heavy end of the log when you are trying to lift it. He whispers truth to your spirit when your mind is screaming lies. He reminds you of my promises when you have forgotten them. You are trying to radio at quarters with a broken walkie-talkie, but the Spirit is the high-powered transmitter that ensures the message gets through loud and clear. Rely on Him. Lean on the Spirit when your own words fail you. I invite you to stop striving for eloquence. When you are exhausted, just sit there and say, Holy Spirit, help me pray. Holy Spirit, say what needs to be said. That is a valid prayer. That is a powerful prayer. Surrender your tongue to Him. Let Him guide your thoughts. Sometimes, prayer isn't about talking at all. It's about sitting in silence and letting the Spirit commune with me on your behalf. It is a deep, soul-to-soul connection that bypasses the limitations of your brain. We are connected internally. You are never truly disconnected. You feel like the call has dropped, but the connection is internal. I am not just with you. I am in you. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead dwells in your mortal body. You understand the power of that. You are a walking temple. The Holy of Holies is inside your ribcage. You don't have to shout to be heard. You just have to turn inward. The distance between you and me is zero. The Spirit is the bridge that is always open, always sturdy, and always capable of carrying your heaviest burdens. Trust the Spirit to bridge the gap your silence created. You worry that your silence has created a canyon too wide to cross. But the Spirit is the bridge. He spans the gap between your sinful nature and my holy nature. He spans the gap between your doubt and my truth. Even when you are faithless, He remains faithful. He is praying for you right now. Did you know that? Even when you are sleeping, the Spirit is advocating for you. Even when you are sinning, the Spirit is grieving and calling you back. You have a constant prayer warrior inside you. Line yourself with Him. Say amen to His intercession. See the scars I bear. They are the proof of my reaching. You asked for a sign of my love. You ask for proof that I am listening. I show you my hands. Look at them. They are not manicured. They are marked. They are not pristine. They are pierced. Those scars are not accidents. They are deliberate signatures of my love for you. I chose to keep them even in my resurrected body. Why? So you would never forget the price I paid to be with you. A scar is a story. It says, I was hurt, but I survived, and I did it for you. When you doubt my commitment, look at the holes. They are the eternal receipts of your redemption. I stretch out my arms and the cross to embrace you. The crucifixion was not just a method of execution. It was a physical demonstration of spiritual embrace. I stretched my arms out wide as the east is from the west, to show you the extent of my mercy. They nailed my hands open so I could never close them to you. Think about that. My posture on the cross was an open embrace. I died with my arms open to welcome you home. I didn't die with a fist. I died with an open hand. That is how I stand towards you today. My arms are still open. My hands are still reaching. Those wounds shout I love you deeper than any words. Action speaks louder than words. I could have just said I love you from heaven. But words are cheap. Love is demonstrated. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. I laid it down. I bled for you. Every drop of blood was a shout. Every gasp for air was a declaration. The nails didn't hold me to the cross. Love did. Love for you. I saw your face when I was on that tree. I saw this moment. I saw your silence, your struggle, and your fear, and I said, you are worth it. How can you remain silent in the face of such sacrifice? When you see what I did, how can you turn away? How can you ignore the one who died for you? It is one thing to ignore a stranger. It is another thing to ignore a Savior who took the bullet meant for you. My passion for you led to my passion on the cross. I withheld nothing. I gave my back to the whip, my head to the thorns, and my hands to the nails. I gave it all. And all I ask in return is your heart. All I ask is your voice. Is that too much to ask? Let my passion for you ignite a passion in you for me. I want you to look at the cross until it melts the ice around your heart. I want you to look at my wounds until your own wounds start to heal. Fire starts fire. Let the fire of my love kindle a fire in your prayer life. Stop praying cold, religious prayers. Pray with passion. Pray with gratitude. Pray like someone who knows they have been rescued from a burning building. I didn't die a boring death. Don't live a boring life. I didn't love you moderately. Don't love me moderately. I died to be with you. Life to be with me. But with a goal. Not just to save you from hell, but to save you for myself. I want you. I want your company. I went through hell to get you back. Don't leave me standing at the altar alone. Come to me. Touch the scars. Put your hand in mine. Let the reality of the crucifixion break your silence forever. I am the lamb who was slain, and I am the lion who roared for your freedom. Talk to me. You are striving and exhausted. Come to me and find rest. I see you running on the treadmill of life, sweating, panting, but getting nowhere. You are trying to earn approval. You are trying to secure your future. You are trying to fix your family. And you are tired. Bone tired. Soul tired. You think that if you just run a little faster, you will finally catch the peace you are chasing. But peace isn't found in the running. It is found in the stopping. I am offering you an offer. I am saying, step off the treadmill. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I won't give you more work. I won't give you more rules. I will give you rest. Silence toward me leads to restlessness in your soul. When you don't pray, you carry the anxiety yourself. Your mind spins at night like a washing machine that is off balance. You replay conversations. You calculate risks. You scenario plan for disasters that haven't happened. That restlessness is a symptom of prayerlessness. Prayer is the act of transferring the worry from your mind to my hands. When you keep it, you worry. When you give it, you rest. Your silence is the cause of your insomnia. Your independence is the cause of your exhaustion. True rest is found only in the exchange of your burden for my peace. Is a train. You give me the ashes, I give you beauty. You give me the heaviness, I give you the garment of prey. You give me the worry, I give you the peace that passes understanding. But you have to make the trade. You have to open your hands and let go of the control you think you have. Control is an illusion anyway. You can't control the future. You can't control other people. But you can trust the one who controls it all. That is where rest comes from. Not from everything going right, but from knowing who is in charge. I offer a Sabbath for your weary mind. You take days off from work, but you never take a day off from worry. I want to give your mind a Sabbath. I want you to take a vacation from fear. By sitting at my feet. Mary chose the better portion. She sat and listened. Martha ran around distracted. You are being a Martha, but I am inviting you to be a Mary. Stop doing. Start being. Be my child. Be loved. Be held. The world will keep spinning without your help for a few minutes. Let it spin. You said. You rest. Stop running, stop fighting, and just sit at my feet. I command you, be still. Be still and know that I am God. You can't know I am God while you are running 100 miles per hour. You have to stop. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is trust. It is saying, God, you are big enough to handle this while I take a nap. It is saying, God, you are strong enough to fight this battle while I stand still. The battle belongs to the Lord, not you. Your position is rest. My position is victory. My presence is the only place where your soul can exhale. You have been holding your breath, bracing for impact. In my presence, you can finally exhale. You can let your shoulders drop. You can unclench your jaw. You can let the tears fall if they need to. I am your safe place. I am your pillow. I am your sanctuary. Come in here and close the door on the noise. Breathe in my spirit. Breathe out your stress. Rest. Just rest. I have you. You are standing on the edge of a breakthrough. Do not retreat into the shadows. To leave before the end is to abandon the cure just as it is being applied to your soul. Do not disappoint me by choosing your burden over my rest. We are almost home. Finish this with me. You have found a sanctuary of rest in these words, a safe harbor where the storm of the world cannot touch you. I call upon you now to help me keep this lighthouse burning for the millions who are still drowning in the waves, searching for the peace you have just found. By offering a super thanks or supporting this mission through the link in the description, you are laying a stone in the foundation of a refuge where weary souls can return to me. Test me in this, and see if I will not open the floodgates of heaven and pour out a blessing upon your house that silence cannot steal. Do not cling to fear or scarcity. Release your seed as an act of supreme trust, declaring that I am your source, your fortress, and your supply. Support this work today, and let your generosity be the vessel that brings the tired, the heavy-laden, and the lost back home to my arms. You do not own tomorrow. You only have this moment. You are a procrastinator when it comes to your soul. You say, I'll get serious about God next week. I'll start praying when things slow down. I'll talk to him when I feel better. But listen to me. You are gambling with time you do not possess. James warned you. You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. Your life is a vapor. It appears for a little while and then vanishes. You are banking on a future that is not guaranteed. The only time you actually possess is right now. The only breath you are guaranteed is the one currently in your lungs. Use it to speak to me. Procrastination is a thief of intimacy. Later is the enemy of now. Every time you say later, you are robbing yourself of a blessing I have for you in this moment. You are pushing away the plate of food while you are starving, saying you will eat next week. Why starve yourself? Why walk around weak and hungry when the banquet is right here? Procrastination is also a form of pride. It assumes you are in control of time. It assumes you will have the opportunity later. Humble yourself and realize, today is the day. Now is the accepted time. Do not say, I will pray later. Pray now. I invite you to stop reading this for a second and just pray. Seriously. Close your eyes. Say, Jesus, do it. Don't just read about me. Talk to me. The enemy loves it when you plan to pray. He hates it when you actually pray. He doesn't mind good intentions. He fears obedient actions. Break the cycle of delay. Break the habit of putting me off. Make me the priority, not the afterthought. Urgency is needed because your soul is starving. You are spiritually anorexic. You are faint. You are weak. You are trying to fight heavy battles with zero spiritual nutrition. You need to eat. My word is bread. My presence is water. You wouldn't go a week without eating physical food. Why do you go months without spiritual food? The hunger pangs you feel, the anxiety, the emptiness, the irritability, those are your soul's stomach growling. Feed it. Feed it now. Do not wait until you collapse to realize you need me. Every moment of silence is a moment of lost fellowship. We can never get this moment back. Once it's gone, it's gone. I want to share life with you now. I want to be part of your now. I don't want to be a god of your past or a god of your future. I want to be the I am. That is a present tense name. I am here now. I am loving you now. I am listening now. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave the phone ringing while you do something else. Big up. Choose to speak to me right now, before this section ends. This is a command born of love. Speak. Don't turn the page. Don't close the app. Don't walk away. Break the silence. It only takes a whisper. God, I'm here. God, I need you. God, I love you. That's it. You did it. The silence is broken. The connection is open. Keep going. I am listening. I am not a silent idol made of stone. I am the living God. You have perhaps stood in museums and seen the statues of ancient gods, cold, hard stone with painted eyes that cannot see and carved ears that cannot hear. You may have felt that I am like them. You scream at the ceiling, and the silence that bounces back makes you feel like you are talking to drywall. But I am not a statue. I am not an idea. I am not a force of energy. I am a person. I am the living God who breathes, who feels, and who speaks. When you speak to a wall, nothing happens. But when you speak to me, you are moving the hand that moves the universe. I am not passive, I am active. I am prepared to answer you, not in a million years, but in your season of need. I answer those who diligently seek me. The scripture says, call to me, and I will answer you. It does not say, call to me, and I might think about it. It is a promise. is a guarantee. However, you must understand the nature of my answer. You treat prayer like a vending machine. You put in the coin of prayer and expect the specific candy bar of your desire to drop out immediately. But I am a father, not a machine. Sometimes my answer is yes, because what you ask is good for you. Sometimes my answer is no, because what you ask would destroy you. And sometimes my answer is wait, because the timing isn't right yet. Do not mistake a wait for ignore. I am working while you are waiting. My answers may not be what you expect, but they will be what you need. You ask for the storm to stop. I answer by giving you the strength to walk through it. You ask for the difficult person to leave your life. I answer by teaching you patience and love. You ask for immediate financial wealth. I answer by teaching you stewardship and trust. You are looking for the package to arrive wrapped in a specific way, so you miss the gift because it came in different wrapping paper. Open your eyes. I am answering you every day. I am answering in the peace that inexplicably comes over you. I am answering in the wisdom that drops into your mind. I am answering in the doors that open and the doors that slam shut. Expectation is the breeding ground for miracles. When you pray, do you actually expect an answer? Or are you just throwing words at the ceiling hoping something sticks? I command you, pray with expectation. Pray like you know I am on the other end of the line. When a child asks for dinner, they don't wonder if their parents will feed them. They go wash their hands and sit at the table. They prepare for the answer. I want you to prepare for my answer. Make space for it in your life. If you are praying for rain, carry an umbrella. If you are praying for a breakthrough, start acting like a person who is free. Call upon me, and I will show you great and mighty things. Jeremiah 33:3 is my direct phone number to you. I said I will show you things which you do not know. It means I have surprises for you. I have solutions to your problems that you haven't even thought of yet. You are stressed because you can only see two options, A or B. But I am the God of option C, D, and Z. I have ways to fix your marriage that you haven't tried. I have ways to heal your body that doctors don't know. I have ways to provide for you that defy the economy. But you will never see these mighty things if you stay silent. You have to call. You have to dial the number. Test me in this, speak, and watch how I respond. Malachi speaks of testing me with your tithe, but I invite you to test me with your trust. Speak to me consistently for the next 7 days. Give me your mornings. Give me your worries. Watch what happens to your anxiety levels. Watch what happens to your perspective. You will find that I am the most responsive person you have ever known. I am not playing hide and seek. I want to be found. I am ready to answer. The question is, are you ready to ask? There is a celebration in heaven when you turn back to me. You are afraid to come back because you think heaven will go silent in disappointment when you walk in. You think the angels will whisper, "Oh look, he's back again. I wonder how long it will last this time." But that is a lie. When you turn your heart back to me, heaven erupts. It is the Super Bowl of the spirit realm. There is cheering. There is joy. Jesus said there is more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need no repentance. You are the cause of a party, not a funeral. Your return triggers my delight, not my disgust. I am the father running down the road to meet the prodigal. You know the story, but I want you to feel it. The son had ruined his life. He smelled like pigs. He had wasted all his money. He rehearsed a speech to beg for a job as a servant. He walked home with his head down, expecting a scolding. But what did I do? I saw him from a long way off. I didn't wait on the porch with my arms crossed, tapping my foot. I ran. In that culture, older men did not run. It was undignified. But I lost my dignity to win back my son. I am running towards you right now. I am hiking up my robes and sprinting to close the gap between us. I am not waiting for you to crawl to me. I am racing to you. I do not greet you with a lecture. I greet you with a robe and a ring. You expect a lecture, I told you so. I knew you would fail. Look at what you did. But I don't give lectures to returning sons. I give gifts. I shout to the servants, bring the best robe. The robe covers your filth and restores your identity. Put a ring on his finger. The ring represents authority and family belonging. Put sandals on his feet. Slaves went barefoot, sons wore shoes. I am restoring your sonship immediately. I am not putting you on probation. I am not making you sit in the corner for a month. I am restoring you to the head of the table instantly. Your return brings me delight, not frustration. I am not frustrated with you. I am frustrated for you, because I know your silence hurts you. But when you come back, all that melts away. I'm like a parent whose child was lost in a crowded mall. When the police bring the child back, the parent doesn't scream at them. They grab them and hug them and cry, "I'm so glad you're safe." That is me holding you. I am just so glad you are talking to me again. I am so glad you are safe in my presence again. Feel my heart beating against yours. It is beating with relief and joy. Feel the joy of being back in right relationship. There is a specific feeling when you make things right with someone you love. The tension in the air vanishes. The knot in your stomach unties. You can look them in the eye again. That is what I want for you today. I want you to feel the lightness of being forgiven. I want you to feel the warmth of reconciliation. You don't have to carry the heavy backpack of guilt anymore. You are home. The silence is over. The awkwardness is gone. We are good. You and I are good. The silence is broken, and the feast can begin. The father in the story didn't just give a hug, he killed the fatted calf. He threw a barbecue. He started the music. He said, "My son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." Your prayer life is the feast. Every time you speak to me, we are feasting. We are eating the bread of life. We are drinking the wine of the Spirit. Don't starve in the pigpen of silence when there is a banquet table waiting for you at home. Come in. The music is playing. The food is hot. Your seat is saved. This life is just the beginning of our conversation. You often lie as if this 70 or 80 years is the whole story. You worry about your legacy, your retirement, your bucket list. But my child, this life is just the preface to the book. It is just the tuning of the instruments before the symphony begins. We are building a relationship that will last for trillions of years and beyond. The conversation we start today will not end when your heart stops beating. It will only get clearer. Death is not a period. It is a comma. It is a pause in the conversation as you step from the Shadowlands into the real world. I'm preparing a place where silence will never divide us again. Jesus said, "I go to prepare a place for you." I am building a home for us. In that place, there will be no more distractions. No more smartphones to look at. No more bills to worry about. No more sickness to distract you. No more shame to make you hide. The barriers will be gone. The silence that plagues you now, the silence caused by your doubt and your flesh, will be eradicated. You will know me fully, just as you are fully known. I am looking forward to that day. I am excited to show you around. We will speak face to face in glory. Right now, you see in a mirror dimly. You hear my whisper, but sometimes it is faint. You sense my presence, but sometimes it feels far. But on that day you will see my face. Revelation says they will see his face. You will look into the eyes of love. You will hear my voice audibly, resounding like many waters, yet gentle as a breeze. We will walk in the cool of the day like I did with Adam, but there will be no snake and no hiding. That is your destiny. That is where this is all heading. Let your prayer life now be a rehearsal for eternity. If you are going to spend eternity talking to me, why not start practicing now? Prayer is the rehearsal hall. Worship is the practice session. When you pray, you are learning the language of heaven. You are tuning your heart to the frequency of eternity. Don't show up to heaven as a stranger. Show up as a friend who has been talking to me for years. Show up and say, Jesus, it's so good to finally see the face that goes with the voice I know so well. Let's make our current conversation so continuous that death feels like just stepping into the next room without breaking the sentence. I have promised to be with you until the end of the age. Matthew 28 ends with this promise, and surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. I am not a temporary guest in your life. I am a permanent resident. I signed a lease for eternity. Through every season of your life, through the diapers and the diplomas, through the weddings and the funerals, through the promotions and the layoffs, I am the constant with you. Silence denies this reality. Silence acts as if I'm absent. Prayer acknowledges the reality. You are here. You are with me. Our bond is eternal. Let us nurture it in the temporal. Do not neglect a relationship that will outlast the stars. Everything else you are worried about will burn. Your car, your house, your career, it is all temporary dust. But your relationship with me, that is the only thing you take with you when you leave. Invest in it. Prioritize it. Give it your best time, not your leftover time. Build gold, silver, and precious stones by building intimacy with me. The world is passing away, but he who does the will of God and talks to the God of the will abides forever. This is the moment of decision. Do not let it pass. We have reached the end of this script, but I desire the beginning of a new chapter in your life. You have read my words. You have felt the tug in your heart. You have sensed the Holy Spirit pressing on your conscience. Now you have a choice. You can close this, put your phone in your pocket, and go back to the noise. You can go back to carrying your burden alone. You can go back to the spiritual drift. Or you can stop. You can draw a line in the sand right now. You can say, no more. No more silence. No more hiding. No more doing this alone. Open your mouth and whisper my name, Jesus. It starts with one word. The name of Jesus is the key that unlocks the door. It is the name that demons fear. It is the name that heaven honors. You don't need a paragraph. You just need that name. Say it now. Whisper it. Jesus. In that one word, you are saying, save me. You are saying, help me. You are saying, I come back. Did you say? Say it again. Louder this time. Let your own ears hear your voice calling out to your Savior. That single word is enough to shatter the walls of silence. Think of Jericho. They marched in silence for days, but on the seventh day, they shouted, and the walls came down. Your silence has been building a wall, but your shout brings it down. When you speak my name, the bricks of shame crumble. The mortar of fear turns to dust. The barrier between us evaporates. You are breaking the sound barrier of your soul. You are declaring war on the distance. You are taking your ground back. I'm here. I am listening. I love you. I am not distracted. I am not looking at my watch. I am looking at you. I see the tear in your eye. I feel the hesitation in your heart. But more than that, I feel the love I have for you burning like a sun. I love you. I love you. I love you to the moon and back, and then to the cross and back. Let that love wash over you. Let it convince you that you are safe to speak. Don't leave me waiting any longer. I have been waiting for this moment for a long time. I have been waiting for you to look up. I have been waiting for you to stop running. The wait is over. The distance is closed. The prodigal is home. The sheep is found. The child is in the Father's lap. Do not delay. Do not overthink. Do not wait for a better feeling. The feeling follows the action. Welcome home, my child. Let us speak. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And start talking. Tell me everything. I am all ears. I am all heart. And I am all yours. Amen. We have broken the silence between us today, but there are multitudes still trapped behind walls of isolation, waiting to hear my voice call their name. I am commissioning you to be my hands and my voice, to fund the breaking of chains across the nations by supporting this channel's assignment. As you click the link to donate or join as a member, you are making a prophetic declaration. Lord, I will not let the world remain silent about your love. I tell you, with the same measure you use to give, it will be measured back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over in your own life. Seal this word in your heart by sowing a sacrificial seed right now. Let your gift be the hammer that breaks the silence for another lost child. Check the link in the description or use Super Thanks and act immediately to spread my fire to the ends of the earth. Do not let this holy encounter evaporate into the noise of your day. Seal it right now with a prophetic act of your will. I call you to break the silence not just in the quiet of your heart, but with a public declaration. Type "I am breaking the silence" in the comments below as a physical stake in the ground. This is not merely words on a screen. It is your signature on a new covenant of communion, a signal to the spiritual realm that you are back online with heaven. When you declare this, you shatter the enemy's lie that you are distant, and you open the floodgates for my voice to fill your life again. Mark this moment, my child. Make your return undeniable, and watch how quickly I respond to your voice. Amen.